Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 85 of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany. I'm Megan. I'm Katie. And they still call me Sarah.
You could have made up another name.
Today's episode is sponsored by Samantha Mason. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha.
Yeah, gosh.
I thought I was alone.
I wasn't sure if you were going to imitate us again, so I didn't talk.
Oh, no.
I just been delayed on normal days, so.
All right, so today we will be discussing Chapter 14 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the Unforgivable Curses. So make sure you have read the chapter and you're ready to dive into the details. I'm not coming up with any more dives because I'm out. So we're back to diving regular style.
That's
Megan has her hand up already. So we'll just mosey on over to that side of the table.
How many unforgivable curses are there?
3,
2,
1.
go.
Shopping cart.
All right, so
Guys, grocery games.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Really?
That's what I was going to say.
Frozen. I got it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jinx again.
So the weekly prophet this week is
Brand spanking new.
the Wizarding World of Harry Potter unveils a new light show dedicated
To snakes.
to the dark arts, aka me.
I mean, do you
For
really want
Voldemort
to be
and Valor.
do you really want to be associated with the dark arts?
No.
That's a yes.
You're such a poser.
No, but I did buy a Voldemort date shirt. Yeah. Okay, so if you visit Universal Orlando Resort and head straight for Nocturne Alley, Katie, is that me? This new light show is sure to make your dark mark tingle.
Oh, my God.
On Thursday, Universal Studios Hollywood and Universal Orlando Resort announced Dark Arts at Hogwarts Castle, which will include a display of lights, music, and special effects centered around dark magic. Lord Voldemort will even make an appearance in the show,
He's back.
Don't say
making this
I knew
a
those bits were
new
real.
dimension of sorcery that strays from their past displays, which include the nighttime lights at Hogwarts Castle and the magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle.
So they were like, oh, we're too fluffy and kind. Let's get dark.
Yeah.
When is this happening?
Yeah, when does it start?
There is not a specific date.
Of course not.
But people are expecting it to debut possibly in September is the...
So we'll see it when we go in December. Cool.
Yeah.
Are we going into December?
We have to. I can't.
we have to go
have
sometime.
to do anything.
I have
Pay
to.
my taxes
And die. No, I have to. Katie, go.
Lacey said you're actually the dark farts.
That's Sarah usually.
It's both of you.
Let's be real.
I think I've heard every single one of us.
Me?
Why are you looking
I don't fart.
Oh, no, that's a lie. I heard her.
Gosh.
Probably not a conversation we should be
Let's
having.
not
That's
talk
a
about
marital
this.
secret, Maggie. Brown hair.
I mean, whatever.
What else do you have?
Is
that
this on
all
the castle?
In the ad?
That's
yeah.
all
Yeah.
I've got.
Yeah.
It's going to be on the castle. It's going to be, Dementors flying.
Oh,
Dark curses.
snake-like
You know what'd be really
am
cool
I?
is if they could actually make it cold.
That would be awesome.
Oh, my God.
I don't know if that's possible, but
Anything's
I know that Universal people listen to us. The heads of Universal. I know J.K.
Correct.
Rowling listens to us.
Correct.
I heard Rumor on the Street is we're her favorite podcast.
Correct.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And
She called me last night.
Yes, correct.
I
we had a long
texted her this
conversation.
morning.
Yeah.
Correct.
We're going to meet up for coffee next week. She'll be in
Correct.
town.
Correct.
She's coming to.
She's adopting me.
Correct.
We're actually related.
Also, 23andMe told me that.
Yeah, 23andMe, I had like a distant relative, and it was like, oh, Joanne Rowling. What?
So
Hashtag
what was I
sponsor
gonna say? You should do it, Universal people that listen to us along with J.K. Rowling.
Make it cold.
That'd be cool. Make us
cold.
make us a little bit sad while we're there. But
Yeah.
we're already sad because we're gonna know that we're gonna leave you and go back to Ohio.
That's why we have to go and, okay, listeners, I need your help here. So as Swish and Flick hosts, I kind of feel like it's our duty
You're more than one. host.
to what?
I don't know.
I'm talking for most of us here. We're just trying to convince one that it's our duty to, go ride Hagrid's motorbike adventure so that we can give you the deets on it, right?
You said duty.
And deets. That's
Meg,
not as funny.
you gotta say your quote.
What did I
say the quote.
Man the boundaries. Inform us. Do your duty as our hosts. All Swish and Flick listeners globally. That's a quote from you.
We need to go.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, Taylor Swift listens too, Chad. Mm-hmm. Yep. She told me we're her favorite podcast.
She told me we're her favorite people.
Yeah. No, I'm her favorite.
No,
You're
and then
second.
Then she told me she's gonna adopt me too. I'm gonna have 2 moms.
3. What about your real mom?
She'll always be my mom. She's my bio mom.
Oh. All right. Are you done?
Yep.
So, what were...
Is she done? Never.
Okay.
I'm talking that I need all the Swish and Flick listeners to tell us that you feel that it's necessary that we go ride Hagrid's motorbike adventure.
It's our job. I mean, if you go on, especially if you go on Patreon, it says that we will bring you the latest up-to-date information from the Potterverse.
Yeah. So I think that it's done. We've decided.
Yeah.
I'll stuff you in a suitcase.
Yeah.
Talking to me.
Yeah, I'll check you on the plane. That'd be scary.
That would, yeah.
You guys, this is a monumental moment right now because I'm about to do the recap in a recap hat.
Oh, hold on. I need to record this.
Yeah, this is a good moment.
It's a monumental moment, and we're here to
Are you
witness
ready?
it all.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let me just get my body ready here.
Get my body ready.
Katie, is your body ready?
It is. Look me in the eyes.
Look me in the eyes.
Always do this. It's time for the recap.
I hated everything about that.
Yeah, no, it was not my best. No, I'm joking.
Would you like to redo it?
No, I'm
Okay,
I'm
you're happy?
actually happy with that.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
No, Sarah can't bring me down with her words.
All right, Christina Aguilera. You did real well.
Thank you.
Sweetheart.
All right,
you did
let's-
wonderful. Katie, it's your turn.
All right, recap. So the school year has officially started. We are unfortunately introduced to Hagrid's illegal creation, the blast-ended Scroots.
Did we say
it's
illegal.
But
It
did
is.
he
You can't-
create them, or did he buy them off of his homeboy living at the pub wearing a hood? You know what I'm saying?
I always thought he did it,
come-
but maybe I'm wrong.
I never thought he did it because I think wonderful things about Hagrid.
I didn't say anything bad about it. I just said
Really?
it
You
was
want to say that to my
illegal.
face?
Yeah.
I mean, she literally did say it to your face. So
Professor Trelawney has again predicted awful things about Harry and divination. No one's surprised.
But they're right.
All right. Mr. Weasley's in a bit of hot water at the Ministry after Rita Skeeter published an article about him in the Daily Prophet, which Malfoy reads loudly for everyone to hear. Gotta love it. And he tries to curse Harry behind his back, but Mad-Eye Moody turns him into a ferret, much to the shock and dismay of Nick G and Sarah. And all of us.
I look at you as it as an afterthought.
You're the one that made me think about it, which is good.
Yeah, that's super mean.
we're not getting into that again.
No, we're going to talk about how Megan has her hand up. It's her left hand. She had it in the air.
And she
about,
pushes the button with the left
12 inches above the table.
What do you need, ma'am?
You guys are gonna hate me because you just made that way bigger than it needed to be. But Vinny says that he heard Christina Aguilera also listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also true.
We're a favorite
that's
among
all.
celebrities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rumor on the street is Rumor Wilson also listens to us.
Get on with it.
Your dad. He's gonna start next
It's
week.
Bruce.
I know.
Not Bruce the Spruce, but Bruce Willis.
I love Rumor Will.
I was thinking Bruce the Shark.
Lacey said, "I'm a recapping a battle, baby."
Oh my god.
I'ma do it the right way, honey.
All right.
That's hilarious.
The day has come. It's Foodie Day. I mean, AKA Fake Moody Day.
Ooh, good one.
They learned some stuff that's just unforgivable. Unforgivable is the word. And it's upsetting, particularly for Neville. Harry and Ron make up some predictions for their lives. They may or may not be true. They may be Trelawney-ish. And oh, spew, Hermione tells us her plans. Harriet gets Harriet.
Harriet. All right,
That's what
Harriet.
happens when I put two words together. Harry gets a serious letter. What does this all mean? Also, Hedwig is mad. Thank you. Next.
Wow.
Red.
Harrius. That sounds like something Harry would name his child, Harrius Potter.
Named after the two coolest dudes I know. Me and Sirius.
So accurate. And Jenny would just be like, okay, whatever, Harry.
Oh, God.
I always said their next kid would be Dobby Sirius. I mean,
Dobby
Dobby
Hedwig.
Hedwig. Yep.
I think that's a pretty good name.
Harrius.
All right.
Harrius Potter.
So,
What's the middle name? Hermione?
Hermione.
Worm.
I'm just going to wait.
All right.
Are you ready? Is it okay?
At this
Yeah.
moment, maybe.
Can I talk about Harry Potter?
Yes, please do. I'd love to learn more about Harrius and
All
his
right.
friends.
Here we go.
He's like Harrius the spy.
Harrius the boy who lived.
Not once, but twice.
Twice. Oh, I mean, we knew that tonight was going to be.
But
Interesting.
why?
Why not?
Oh, Lord. Okay, here we go. For Voldemort and Valor. After their conversation about how Moody really knows what it's like to be out there, quote, doing it, fighting the dark arts. 2 days pass without any incident, unless you count Neville melting his 6th cauldron in potions. And I said, how, bro?
Because he's so nervous.
Honestly, that's a lot of money, though. Because you have to buy your own cauldron.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure maybe they were like, here, have a school one for a hot minute. And then Snape's like, call your gran. Not call, but you know.
I wonder though, like if he was just so terrified of Snape, if that's the
Yeah.
reason.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, clearly we see that he's not an idiot. I mean, he does well in herbology. And I feel like if he had support in other subjects, this is a whole other thing. He
kills
he would be
Nagini.
fine. He would be fine. That's more or less gross motor skills, so.
I would think you need good motor. Hold on. What am I trying to say?
I don't know.
I would say that he has to have good motor skills, but you'd have to have bad ones to melt 6 cauldrons. But clearly he does. It's just his nerves.
What's going on?
It's Snape. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Snape has been, speaking of, Snape has been getting meaner and meaner all summer, and Harry thinks that he has reached, quote, new levels of vindictiveness.
Oh, boy.
And gave Neville a detention. And in that detention, you guys, Neville had to disembowel a barrel full of horned toads.
It's so mean.
So I said, do you know how big a barrel is? And I said the 42-gallon oil barrel was officially adopted in 1866. So someone else can figure out how many toads can fit in a 42-gallon barrel and how many Danny DeVitos.
Thank you. I was going to ask that.
So,
That would have been easy math. You just roughly find out how big a toad is, not how.
okay, if it's easy math, have at it, ma'am.
Vinny's on
That's
it.
traumatizing, though, to disembowel an animal.
Well, like not only that,
Well,
but
Disembowel your animal.
yes.
Oh my God.
Wait, what?
Because
He has a
toad.
toad.
Yeah, but it's not his.
I know,
Still.
but
Like that's,
still.
I think that's why he picked toads out of
Yeah,
all
my
animals.
God. I always
never
thought
made
that.
God forbid you had to do that to a dog. Wouldn't you think of Fozzie?
The whole time while you were doing it.
I would quit Hogwarts.
Well, that's
Just saying.
basically what he's doing to.
I never
Oh.
thought of that.
I never thought of that either. Y'all are dark.
Dark farts.
No, Snape is dark.
Well, yeah. I mean, that is pretty terrible. I hope they were already dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
I'm
know.
sure they would be.
Maybe not.
I mean,
Oh my God.
I'm sure
oh
they
my
were. If there's a
God.
barrel
Oh,
of them.
sorry. I guess I'm dark.
That's so traumatic.
Well, for Voldemort and Valor, you know, that's how he started.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Are you okay?
just the thoughts really sad.
So she's
Hi,
laughing.
this is what she does when she's gonna cry.
And she's crying. I'm sorry.
down her cheek.
I'm sorry I talked about toads.
You want a tissue?
I'll get one.
Oh my god, we gotta move on. Harry and Ron believe that Snape is in such a bad mood because of Moody being the one to take the Defense Against the Dark Arts job. But I said, I think it's because of the events at the end of last year.
Probs.
Not helping.
Yeah, no. So Harry and crew knows that it's the 4th year running that Snape didn't get the job, and it's guaranteed to have been longer, ever since he got to the school. What's up?
I think that he's moody because of Moody.
No, I think not so much him being the teacher. I think that added to it, but also like I think because Snape knows who he was through the entire thing, and other people.
You're talking about Moody being an Auror and Snape
Correct.
being a Death Eater?
Correct. Maybe like Snape's just over trying to defend, like not even trying to defend himself, but he doesn't want that whole thing to come up again because it's
He's
like
he's over the stigma
yeah.
of him being a Death Eater.
Sucks to suck. You were, so...
I'm just saying that was part of it
But he
too. Like, maybe
was.
it just put him. I would think it would put him more on edge.
I don't know. I feel like
agree.
he knows his position.
I know, but yes, I agree. But I'm still thinking like it's still taxing to have to like constantly be like, I know who I am and like do whatever. And it's still a taxing thing for him to have other people being like, well, you're a Death Eater. You're a Death Eater, even though he knows who he is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to agree to disagree on that one, though. I think it's a lot to do with the end of last year. I mean, Lupin was there. It was the whole thing.
I don't disagree with you. I'm saying I think it's all of that.
Oh, gotcha.
Because it's what 2 months later.
Yeah, it's
still
roll.
fresh
I
in
mean,
your-
you have to
in your
think
mind.
about how insanely mad that he was at the end of the last book.
Yeah.
Oh, like deranged mad.
Yeah, because we were like, holy cow, we've forgot how deep this was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Vinny says a barrel is 0.58. That's rounded DeVito's.
So a little more than half.
all right then. I'm glad we know these
That's
things.
what I
But
was
yes,
looking
so
it
I
up.
think it was that he was still angry about everything that happened last year, but I think this just puts him more on edge with Moody being there.
Yeah,
and
just
that
adding
thing.
to it.
Yes.
I see that. Yeah, definitely. What am I talking about?
read from chapter.
Gotcha. So it says, but he seemed strangely weary of displaying overt animosity towards Mad-Eye Moody. Indeed, whenever Harry saw the two of them together at mealtimes or when they passed in the corridors, he had the distinct impression that Snape was avoiding Moody's eye, whether magical or normal.
Sorry. Eye jokes.
I see what you did there.
It's very clear to me.
Oh, I'm really glad we have this now. So, Tiffany theory. Snape knows what that eye can do. Possible legilimens? And he doesn't want Moody seeing into some Snapey thoughts.
I think he just doesn't. Yeah, he probably doesn't trust Moody. Even though I don't know. Like I feel like Snape is a person that
Do you think Moody is like practiced at legilimens, so Snape's like trying to like block it? I mean, they
Well, then
know
what does
each
he have to
other,
block?
so
Well, I think that it's.
anything that he's doing, anything.
I don't
mean,
think he would want Moody to know anything he was doing for Dumbledore.
Correct. Yeah, he has all of that to hide. So if anybody infiltrates, like when Harry infiltrates in
And
5,
he never trusts anybody. So even though Moody is an Auror in his eyes at this moment, he's still not going to be trusting of him enough to share what's going on.
because he's
with him
still
and
a double,
Dumbledore.
I
and
view
whatever
that more
he's seeing,
like,
he's going to be like, "Well, is that real?" Blah blah
Exactly.
blah.
Yeah, I view that they have a lot of animosity in between each other because neither
Yeah, I
one of
would
them
agree
trust
with
each
that.
other because they both. Not that Snape thinks that he's like on the other side, but Moody certainly I would think thinks that Snape is.
Fake Moody.
Foodie. So there's a lot of clashing that way. And he's also, like you said, probably angry about he wants the Defense Against the Dark Arts position.
And we have to think like it's not Moody, it's Barty Crouch Jr. So every time we say Moody, it's Barty Crouch.
We can call him
It's really
Booty.
confusing just because, like, booty.
We call him, no, Cootie sounds dumb.
We need something though.
We could just call him Junior.
because
Junior.
But here's the thing,
Judy.
We'll call him Judy
big-
because
big
that's
booty
good,
Judy?
and that's not a bad. Like, I'm not gonna call him Booty though.
Here's
So,
the thing, though.
from now
But I
on-
don't want it to get twisted because I feel like sometimes when I read this, I read it as Moody, and
Yes.
I have to
Yeah.
stop.
Ooh, Moody Jr.
Why don't we just
No.
call him Judy?
Ooh, Moody Jr.
Junior Moody. But I agree, because there's times where I have to think, like,
This
Harry,
isn't
like,
him.
I feel like later on Harry thinks he's got such a connection with Moody, but you really don't. You didn't.
Yeah,
like,
you don't
had
know
a
him.
connection with Barty Crouch Jr.
Yeah.
And
Granted,
it's
later
hard for me
on
to like.
Yeah. No, see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I kind of don't want to call him Moody anymore. Because
That's
it's
what
not
I'm saying.
him. So let's do it. So it's Judy, y'all.
Which is just Marty Crouch Jr.
I like Marty.
Marty.
So from now on, it's Judy, and that is Barty Crouch Jr. as Mad Eye Moody.
Because it's easier to like connect the two. You know what I mean? Because we all have to remember, like you said, this isn't Moody.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's
Can
hard.
we say Moody Judy?
Judy Moody is better.
Judy Moody.
Judy Moody.
Yeah.
I like that.
I'm down.
Judy Moody.
Judy Moody. So I would like to welcome Judy Moody to the podcast.
Welcome, Judy Moody.
That's going to be
Get
the title.
All right. So now that we're not confused anymore,
Are we not?
can I just say Judy? That's a lot of words because I got Moody written everywhere.
Moody Judy.
It's Judy.
Do whatever you want.
I'm gonna do whatever I want.
You can either do just Judy
It's just Judy.
Or
Judy
Judy
Moody.
Moody.
Judge Judy. Just Judy. Just Judy. Just Jack. All right, here we go. So the fourth year Gryffindors are really excited for their first Defense Against the Dark Arts lesson with Judy after being hyped up by the twins and their crew. And they're more excited about seeing what Judy knew and what he was all about. This is going to be fantastic. There was even a line outside the classroom before the lesson began. And I think that's just awesome because
Yeah.
they're so excited because they know that this person is experienced. Like this person has a reputation, right? Big reputation. There you go.
Nice.
All right. I listened to that song today, actually.
Taylor will really like that when she hears this when she listens to the podcast.
Yeah, she will.
You're welcome, Tay Tay. All right. Hermione turns up just in time from the library. Shocking. Harry tells him to come on quick or we won't get decent seats. It's like they're like being treated to a free show by their favorite artist is what I put down.
Yeah,
they're so excited.
I wonder if
I
they
love
like,
this. It's education, man.
I wonder if they know what's going to happen. Like, I know they don't know, but like they're so excited
I
to go
think
to this
they-
class, and it's like so overwhelming.
So let's think about this. So a lot of people, let me take something from pop culture right now. Making a murderer, right? Not necessarily a nice topic, correct?
Correct.
People love that documentary.
Yeah.
Obsessed with it.
I've watched it,
did
both
not.
parts.
I only watched the first part.
But that it reminds me of this. Like it's something that's not necessarily like desirable really, but you can't stop.
It's like morbid curiosity.
Well,
Yes, curiosity.
And two, like talking about, so like, if you listen to the end of all of these podcasts, that I had read that book about the woman who's a mortician and all of that stuff. Like those are conversations that you should have because unfortunately everybody's gonna die, and those are conversations you don't want to have because they're hard to talk about. But I think with what we're gonna see in the class too is that, you know, you need to be prepared to see what's out there. Like when they talk about in the fifth book with Umbridge, and she's like, you don't need to know these spells.
Here's your theory.
You're never gonna like, even if Voldemort was
gonna
not a
help
thing, and like Death Eaters and all that stuff, there's still bad people in the world that are going to use those types of spells against people because they don't care.
Right.
So like you still, I think
You'll think it.
I think you need to know all of these, and so I mean it is a good thing that they're learning it, but it's also like it's an emotional, especially
hard.
for Neville and Harry, because they have such a connection with it. For others, they probably think it's a lot of fun learning all this stuff, and then you realize like there's people that are very closely connected to these spells.
Yes.
The perfect example of that, and we can talk about this more later, but whenever Ron leaves the class and he is just like so excited to talk about it with Harry, and then Harry's like,
yes.
was it cool? And he like questions it, and then Ron's like,
It
oh,
took him
wait.
down a peg,
Well,
right? Because
yeah.
because you don't realize, and it's not
No.
people's faults.
No, because
you
he's
know what I
excited,
mean.
and he's
he
like, oh my
doesn't-
gosh, I'm seeing this.
You just this
Yes.
this is all a learning experience for people.
Well, like, and it's a perfect example too with Ron. He's never really seen that. He's come from a childhood home that both parents are still together. He has all of his siblings, and he hasn't really seen a ton of bad stuff.
At this moment in time, he's
Correct.
like untouched.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, get
And
ready.
like with Neville has known from jump like how his parents have been and what happened to them. Essentially, because his parents are still alive and he still visits them and
I
everything.
guarantee Gran has been like detailed about that
Yeah,
too,
I
because
mean-
she wants to make him tough and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Harry, we know he's always known that his parents have died since he was roughly a year and a half old. So he's seen this where like that's the big thing. Like, isn't he like the only one that like is wondering about like how Neville's doing? Because Neville was like very
Hermione.
shaken.
Hermione
Was it
first.
Hermione questions
Yeah.
it.
Well, because Harry, we're getting to all of this, but Harry like couldn't rip his eyes away.
Right.
And
He's
then
like,
he-
I have to watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of? The end of Cursed Child.
Good.
Remember when I was crying?
No, I can't, because that's when my nose started to bleed. We'll get into that.
We
All
talked
right.
about it at the meetup, and I literally started crying again.
It's
So emotional.
heart-wrenching, especially when you're emotionally invested in the series like we are.
I'm not.
That's
Yes, you
garbage. You were
are.
sobbing your eyes out.
This is super reminiscent of that scene though, except he's not seeing the real thing like he is in Cursed
Yeah.
Child, but he's still seeing for the first time ever exactly what happened to his parents.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And again, it's like those conversations that are hard to have and hard to see and all of that. But one, you can't take your eyes off of it, like Tiffany said.
Yeah.
And two, it's like sometimes you just have to learn, unfortunately.
Yep. All right. So back to the chapter. The trio gets 3 chairs right in the front of the teacher's desk, and they took out their books, and they are called The Dark Forces, A Guide to Self-Protection by... I don't know. And then I forgot to look it up. So if one of you want to do that, that'd be cool. I don't
What's
know.
it called?
The Dark Force, The Guide to Self-Protection. So, moving on. Moody's clunking steps are coming down the corridor, and they were pretty frightening sounding. And his clawed wooden foot, which we think might be like a chicken, was sticking out of his robes. Immediately, he tells the class to put their books away because they won't be needing them. Very unlike Miss Umbridge. Yes, ma'am.
It's by Quentin Trimble.
Tremble. Scary.
Yeah. Oh, there's an
I love
ad.
it.
He was a professor and headmaster at Hogwarts.
Ooh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a required reading for any student enrolled in Defense Against the Dark Arts class. So I think that this might be one that they've had.
So it's like the book for a little bit at least.
Yeah, he was the headmaster when Armando Dippet took over. Oh, wait, no. Trimble was no longer the headmaster when Armando Dippet took over in the early 20th
Did Dippet take over
century.
for him, or was he like before that?
Trimble passed away before, it says prior to the end of the school term in 1986, he passed away and a portrait was hung in the headmaster's office.
But when was Dippet? Long time ago.
Yeah, but after
Voldemort.
that, Voldemort was in the
Voldemort at
40s.
school.
30s, 40s is when he went to school.
He was
He
old.
graduated in 45. You're welcome.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so he takes out the class roster and he shakes his long gray hair out, and his twisted and scarred face is showing. That's sad. He's been through a lot. And he called out the names of the students, and his normal eye went down the list. And then while that was happening, his magical eye goes to each student that answers, which I just like.
Yeah.
It makes me
so
think of
weird.
Tomatoa. Pick an eye, sweetheart. Pick an eye. I can't.
Oh yeah,
I can't talk to you when you won't focus on an eye. Pick one.
That's so funny.
So awesome.
Shout out to Moana.
Oh man. So I wanted to read this because it's a shout out to your boy, Katie. I've had a letter from Professor Lupin about this class. Seems you've had a pretty thorough grounding in tackling dark creatures. You've covered boggarts, redcaps, hinky punks, grindylows, kappas, and werewolves. Is that right? And they're like, yep, that's pretty right. So Moody says that the class is way behind, though, on dealing with curses, and that he has 1 year to do it. And Ron is like, what? You're not staying longer than that? No, because no one does.
Truth.
So Moody's eye like spins around and it looks at Ron. And Ron's like, oh, sorry I said anything, because he's like freaked out. And he's like, "You'll be Arthur Weasley's son, eh?" Moody said. "Your father got me out of a very tight corner a few days ago. Yeah, I'm just staying the 1 year. Special favor to Dumbledore. 1 year and then back to my quiet retirement." He gave a harsh laugh and then clapped his gnarled hands together. I think he gives a harsh laugh because he's like, "Nope, I'm going to kill this sucker."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, I wonder, I'm assuming, though, Moody,
Judy or Moody?
no, real Moody.
Okay.
Like, he must have said pre that, like, or I'm thinking he would have been like, I'm only doing this for a year, because otherwise, like, that would have screwed with Judy's plans. Judy / Voldemort's plan.
Correct.
Of like,
yeah.
you're going to go in, you're going to stay for your year, we're going to kill the kid and get out.
And then we're going to...
June, you're going to die. Right before your birthday.
What does the Grinch say? Grab a handful of popcorn shrimp and blow out of there.
That's my Voldemort voice now, guys.
Oh, okay.
You get in, you get out. You're done.
Harriet is Voldemort?
Yeah, really.
Harriet's a little bit worse than that.
Oh, okay.
Not worse, but like worse voice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
She's worse than Voldemort.
She's Umbridge.
So basically, they get right into the curses, but the ministry says no thank you to teaching the curses, but please to teaching counter curses. In the 6th year, they're deemed to be old enough to deal with the illegal dark curses. So, first of all, I found it interesting that the word dark is capitalized.
Yeah. It
I
always is.
enjoyed that, though.
Even in the first book, I remember Harry goes on this like little monologue with Harry and Hermione when they're talking about going in the trap door, I think. And he says, "I'll never go over to the dark side."
Dark
and
side,
that's
yes.
capitalized.
Both of them, dark side.
I heard
So-
they have cookies, though.
Well, I mean,
And Darth
They're all
Vader's.
burnt though.
but what
Well,
is
Darth
a
Vader's
Star
dead.
War? I don't know either.
Maybe we should ask Lady Supreme. Supreme Lady Alana Rose.
Oh, man. But Moody says that Dumbledore has a high opinion of the students, higher than the ministry, so they're going to be able to learn these things sooner. And I said, now, to me, this seems a little bit weird, but if it wasn't true, that info would get back to Dumbledore and he would stop this teaching, right? Or are the kids just too enthralled in it that they're like, well, of course he said it's okay, so of course it's okay with Dumbledore. I'm just wondering because it is a little strange.
Do you think that Judy wanted to teach it because he likes doing it?
I have a bit of a theory on it.
I think that
I have a
even
theory.
if
So
did you want to say it now? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
it's coming up very soon.
Okay. I think that even if that statement wasn't true, like Dumbledore okayed it and he did it, like it wouldn't seem out of character to me, at least, that Moody would have done that.
Okay.
And then Dumbledore would have just been like, don't do that again.
He's only here for a year, blah, blah, blah.
Or like,
And Dumbledore does whatever he
or
wants.
even
anyway.
approach him and just be like, don't teach that anymore. But
To-
like, what's
to the
done
younger.
is done.
I think that Dumbledore would have allowed it. Because he's like, they need to learn. And the thing is that and you see when Sirius is like, he's been kind of,
think
if
we're thinking
Dumbledore's
the same
doing
thing.
what, Dumbledore's reading the signs, and he knows that it's going to come back.
Yes, this is what.
So he's going to let them learn regardless what the ministry says anyways.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Dumbledore is saying to Judy, hey, Judy Booty, you teach them all the dark stuff so they can defend themselves.
Okay, go.
I'm
I
here
think
for it.
that this is pretty similar to what Sarah's saying, but
Yeah.
I think that this lesson is for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Dumbledore's end game in this series is always the end, right? So he's thinking, well, to get there, to achieve what needs to be achieved, they need to be shown this, whether
They being
the trio.
HP.
Yeah. I think specifically the trio as well, too, though.
I agree.
You think the trio?
Yeah.
Because I think he realizes, like I've always said, that they're stronger together.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he knows that.
Correct.
And he always tells Harry to share things with Hermione and Ron.
True.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that, too, is like it's hard for you to keep all of that because that's a lot of hard information. So he's like, you have friends for a reason.
So you think he's thinking like,
these three need to know.
even though it can't be the other two,
But
they could aid
They're going to
him.
help him.
Yes.
Got you.
I think without the two of them, he would not have succeeded.
Well,
No way.
No.
So
No, yeah, and I think that it would be weird for Dumbledore to pull them up into his office and be like, "Here, I want to show you what these do." So to make it not feel weird, he incorporates this into lessons, and the others get to see it too. But in a way, they're kind of signing on for this war as well.
well, they're going to have the choice.
Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
are,
be-
but at least they can be prepared this
Yes.
way.
Like, here's all of the information.
This is what this war is going to look like.
Yeah.
These curses will be thrown at you. Are you okay with staying or are you not?
Yeah.
I think that in Dumbledore's mind, everything that we see up until 7 is done for a reason with a purpose, and he has a plan for Harry all 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Don't end that with I don't know.
Well, I don't. I mean, that's just my theory.
Yeah, but stand
Say,
firm
I-
on
say,
it.
this is
and
what I
that's my
believe.
theory. And that's the tea.
And that's the tea.
There it is. All right, so I'm going to play off of that because I agree with you guys, but I also have some questions. Judy brings up a good point. If someone is going to battle you or attack you, it's not going to be in the proper dueling form like we learned in our second year. Those days are gone. And that reminds me of dueling back in the old days with the white glove and even the lines with I'm thinking of Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. I was just going to say, and then they
Yeah.
learned, wasn't it from there? It was like guerrilla style warfare. And that's how it started to change, where they're like, they don't care.
Yeah.
They're not going to stand
No,
in line and
it's-
be like, let me reload my gun.
War is not proper.
No.
It progresses just like everything else. Just like magic with time turners.
We will get to that. Oh boy. All right. So the students do need to be prepared. Lavender was caught showing, I'm going to say this wrong and you're going to laugh at me again. Parvati.
Here you go.
Thank
you.
That's right.
Her completed horoscope under the desk, and Moody is like, no. Well, he sees that with his eye.
Isn't it through the back of his head?
I think it's through the back of his head with his magical eye.
And
Yeah.
through the desk.
Yeah.
Yes. So, which curses are most heavily punished by law? And so, many hands went into the air. One of them was bronze. And so, he brings up the Imperious Curse. And let me also bring that up. If you go into Pottermore, it is it's not under Imperious, it's under Imperio. And it is one of the 3 unforgivable curses. It allows the caster to control another's actions. It has a small fact file. Incantation is Imperio. Purpose, to make someone do exactly what you want. And it says, the Imperious Curse can be fought, and I'll be teaching you how, but it takes real strength of character, and not everyone's got it. Better avoid being hit with it. It says that's an Alistair Moody quote, but isn't that a Judy quote?
It is.
Also with constant vigilance.
Sorry, Pottermore. You're wrong. Go ahead.
I have a question for you guys. What you think about this?
Sure.
Do you think also that Judy wanted to? Are you going to bring this up?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I don't have my notes up in front of me, so I'm just going off of.
I love you, though. Hang on to it.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
That was not a bell. That was me clinking my cup on accident.
We know that Imperio was used also in the Deathly Hallows, and it says, act now, whispered Griphook in Harry's ear, the Imperious Curse. And this is when they're breaking into Gringotts.
I escaped from Gringotts.
So did I.
Me too.
Katie tried to
No.
illegally bring a wand.
They caught me.
Go ahead.
The internet is telling me that imperiosa, and some other word that has another word on top of it, so I can't read it. The definition is dictatorial. That's not a word.
So you can dictate what people do.
Powerful,
Love that.
domineering,
Love it.
masterful.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Imperious, not
That's-
Imperiosa.
That's just what the internet tells me. It could be wrong.
No, that's awesome.
So, I mean, that makes sense, though.
Well, like, think of the Imperial Army.
Oh.
I'll make a man out of you.
I was talking Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
We don't know what that is.
Hold on. So isn't the Imperial Army? That's
Vader will
like
make a man out of
that's the Darth Vader people, right?
Yeah. Meg, the Darth Vader people.
What are they called?
Dark side. Ooh, ha, ha.
Stormtroopers.
Dark side. Shark bait.
Okay, guys, I casually enjoy Star Wars. I'm not.
It is
a super
Disney,
fan.
turd ball.
It wasn't for many years.
Well, now it is. All right. So let's get into what I kept shutting Meg up about. Sorry about the mic.
When she growled.
Yeah. So, Moody says that Arthur would know a lot about this curse because it gave the ministry a lot of trouble at one time, and that would have been the first Wizarding War. So Moody takes out 3 glass jars that contain 3 black spiders. Black. There you are.
Don't you snap at me.
Well, I don't have. I do have.
Is that a snapback hat?
No, it's an,
I don't know what that
it's a
means.
Snape auto.
Oh my god. Safe auto. So he takes out these spiders and Ron basically like flips out. So here's my thing. Because we talked about Dumbledore being like, yo, it's cool for these curses to be taught, teach these curses. But I'm not exactly sure that my man was like, hey, teach these, rather than said, yeah, it's okay if you do that. Because I think that Joody went in there, and I think that the plan to turn the cup into a port key wasn't formulated at this time. I think that Joody was working on a way to get Harry out. So I think that this just happened to be perfect in teaching this to that class as 4th years rather than 6th years, because he wanted to see if Harry could fight it, because I think he was testing to see if he could use the Imperious Curse to get Harry out and use it on Harry.
I want to know, do you think he was testing him in general to see how strong magically Harry is?
Yes.
Shots fired.
I have chills.
OMG.
I think it's a combination of that, and I think it's a combination of, did he want to use the Imperious Curse to make Harry win in the maze? Did he want to see if Harry was capable of fighting it off, and if he could like fully understand how to fight it off,
Exactly.
so that he could get that information back to Voldemort?
Yeah.
I think more than anything, this lesson was for Imperious above all of them, because like
100%.
Crucio, everybody's gonna feel pain no matter what. You can't fight that away, and obviously nobody can fight the Avada Kedavra curse. But
Well, Harry Potter can.
Harry's like, I'm the boy who lived twice. Just saying. Chosen one, that's me.
No, but honestly, this was a very nonchalant, very under the radar way for Moody to go to Dumbledore and say, hey, constant vigilance. I want to teach these kids XYZ. 4th years should be able to learn this. I bet 3 and down didn't. But probably 4 and up. Or, I mean, just to keep it normal. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't just be like, okay, 4th year, then 6 and 7 or whatever. You wouldn't skip 5. So I bet that he went to Dumbledore asking... Not necessarily. Well, I mean, he got permission because he brings up Dumbledore, and I don't think he would lie about that because it'd be too hard. But I think that this was definitely a lesson just in seeing if Harry was susceptible to the Imperious Curse.
But I wonder if he showed all years, but didn't have them go under the Imperious
do it.
Curse. Yeah.
I don't know if he would have shown all of them.
It's a waste of time.
To him,
it's
the
just
number.
funny to me thinking about a Barty Crouch and coming up with like lesson plans.
Yeah.
Are you proud of me now, Father? That's the tongue thing. You're welcome. All right, so that's my take. And I've got
obviously
a few
agree.
people agreeing with me and some patrons as well. But it's a theory, so do what you will. It says Dumbledore's got a higher opinion of your nerves, rather. Sorry. He reckons you can cope, and I say the sooner you know what you're up against, the better. And I probably was the argument he went into Dumbledore's office saying. You know what I'm saying? Like that's probably he was like, "Hey, look," because he knows that Voldemort's coming back. I mean, he's Voldy baby right now. He's there. He's seen it, so he knows it's coming back. So he can be like, "I know you're reading the signs, Dumbledore," because he knows that Dumbledore knows something's up.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think it took Dumbledore a lot of convincing.
Heck
When
no.
he probably was like, I think it'd be good, and he'd be
Yeah,
like,
because he was probably
Toadsbro.
like, in his office. Okay, so how am I
I
going to get
think-
Harry?
I think Voldemort's coming back on the 23rd of June. I don't know if that's the actual date, people. Sorry if that's confusing. And you know what? I think Harry can learn some things from this Judy guy.
Oh my god.
Totes my goats, bro, is what he said to Moody. He told me.
Yeah,
his portrait.
All right, so let's get into Imperio. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The spider leapt from Moody's hand on a fine thread of silk and began to swing backward and forward as though on a trapeze. It stretched out its legs rigidly, then did a backflip, breaking the thread and landing on the desk, where it began to cartwheel in circles. Moody jerked his wand, and the spider rose onto two of its hind legs and went into what was unmistakably a tap dance. Well, funny you laugh, because everybody else did too.
It is kind of sad
I think
to think
that's
about
funny.
it.
But he said,
Sarah.
"Think it's funny, do you? You'd like it, would you, if I did it to you?" Total control. So the class immediately was like, they stopped laughing, because that in itself is terrifying.
Yeah.
Reading this yourself and putting in pauses like in your head is one thing, but I have to give a shout out to Jim Shore reading.
Jim Dale.
Who's a shore?
Jim Shore makes figurines.
Jim Shore yeah, he's an artist. Okay, well, whatever. Jim Dale.
I like Jim Shore.
Jim Shore might read it too, and he probably pauses in great ways.
You know, I heard
mean-
Jim Halpert has his own.
You know, I think I read that pretty well. Why don't you give me a shout out?
You did. I was going to say, your reading of it was very similar to Jim Dale's
Because I'm
reading.
a professional.
And
Because-
possibly Jim Shore's. We don't know.
We don't know.
Because, you know, like, I mean, he's reading the book and you're getting the story, but then all of a sudden it gets to this part and, like, immediately just from the tone of his voice, you can tell that, like, this is different. This is not, you know, as soon as he says, "Oh, you think that's funny," and all of a sudden, like,
You're
it's
like,
almost as
"You're
if
right."
you were laughing with the class and then he scolded you and you're like, "Oh,
You feel
oh no,
ashamed.
that's,
you don't
yeah,"
think
you're like,
about
"That's
it.
not
Yeah.
funny."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, and then as it keeps going, you know, and I'm sure you're going to keep reading, but, you know, like, he's going to make the spider try to, well, he's going to say, "Well, what if I made it jump out the window?"
Why are you giving away my parts, man?
It's just good.
Thanks. Let's go. Total control, said Judy. Quietly as the spider balled itself up and began to roll over and over. "I could make it jump out of the window, drown itself, throw itself down one of your throats." Ron shudders.
As we all do.
Yep.
So this is where we get a peek back. Because he knows what it was like in the First War. "Years back, there were a lot of witches and wizards being controlled by the Imperious Curse," said Moody, and Harry knew he was talking about the days in which Voldemort had been all-powerful. Some job for the Ministry trying to sort out who was being forced to act and who was acting of their own free will.
What a mess.
The Imperious Curse can be fought, and I'll be teaching you how, but it takes real strength of character, and not everyone's got it. Better avoid being hit with it if you can. Constant vigilance, he barks. So that spider caught a lucky break, went back into his little jar to live another day. Moody asks for another curse, and welcome, a curse, and much to people's surprise, Neville puts his hand in the air. This isn't herbology, guys.
This breaks my heart.
So Neville even looked surprised at himself. And Neville says, "There's one, the Cruciatus curse." So Moody looks at the class register, and he knows that this is Neville Longbottom. He turned around. He uses Engorgio on the next spider so that the students could see it better. Ron flips out again at the enlarged spider, and then, Meg's got her hand in the air.
Do you think it was necessary for him to make the spider larger?
Yeah.
I think so everyone could see it.
I feel like it was intentional because he knew that that was Neville. And he made it bigger because he's like, "Oh, this is Neville Longbottom. I'm going to show him what I did to his parents."
I mean, I don't think you're wrong.
No,
But I
don't
also
think
think
you're
part of it too is like so everyone could see it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that's probably the most used between that and Imperio. You know?
Yeah.
Like that one, you're going to see it, watch this animal be in pain because it could happen to you. But I also want to give a shout out to Matthew Lewis because this part of the movie is really good and makes me sad.
It is.
I don't remember.
Just the way he like delivers the line.
Yeah.
because
Like,
he
he almost doesn't wanna
stumbles,
say it.
he's like stumbles over the words because he knows, that's how his parents were.
And it's really sad why he knows.
Yeah.
So
So read some sad stuff from the chapter, Tiffany.
Can do. All right. So Engorgio, and then he just says it, Crucio. And so at once the spider's legs bent in upon its body, and it rolled over and began to twitch horribly, rocking from side to side. No sound came from it, but Harry was sure that if he could have given voice, it would have been screaming. Moody did not remove his wand, and the spider started to shudder and jerk more violently. So Hermione steps up and she screams, "Stop it!" And so Harry looks around at her, but she's not looking at the spider. She's looking at Neville. And so Harry has to follow her gaze. And Neville's hands are clenched upon the desk in front of him, and his knuckles are white, and his eyes are wide and horrified. And so Moody finally raises his wand up, and it stops, and he says "Reducio," so the spider shrinks back down. And that spider gets to live another day.
I wonder if this spell, not only does it cause pain, but when your muscles clench really tight,
Yep.
That's when
Like
I
a
envision
Charlie
your
horse.
entire body is just one giant rigid muscle.
yeah.
Which in and of itself, when you're in pain, and I know it's because I used to work in a recovery room, so people after surgery, and they'd come out and they're in pain, you just had surgery. And I'm I know it's hard to relax, but that's the best thing for you, is trying to relax your muscles to help with the pain. So not only are you in pain in general because of this curse, but also all your muscles are tight as can be, and it's going to hurt worse.
Yeah.
It's just horrific.
So it is. It really is. But if you look Crucio up on Pottermore, just as one of the 3 unforgivable curses, the Cruciatus curse causes agonizing pain. The incantation is Crucio, and the purpose is to inflict excruciating pain on the recipient/victim. I think that's pretty interesting to point it out. Bellatrix is specific on this.
Loves this curse.
Yeah.
Crucio means I torture.
I like that.
It's the Latin word.
I don't like that, but
for cross or crux. The verb cruci. I can't see because my contact's messed up. Cruciare, which means to crucify or torture. At least that's what the internet tells me.
And I like this that they pulled from Order of the Phoenix. You need to mean them, Potter. You really want to cause pain to enjoy it. Righteous anger won't hurt me for long. Bellatrix Lestrange. So Hermione stops the madness, and Neville obviously is very upset. So we know that Neville's parents were tortured with this, and Moody, Judy rather, says, "Pain. You don't need thumbscrews or knives to torture someone if you can perform the Cruciatus curse." That one was very popular once too. Crazy.
Yeah.
So, Frank and Alice have profiles on Frank and Alice Longbottom have profiles on Pottermore, but they're pretty blah.
We don't know too much about them anyway.
The wand for Frank says inherited by his son Neville. It was broken in battle at the Department of Mysteries. We know his mother is Augusta Longbottom. He's an Auror, or was an Auror. I believe they're part of the Sacred 28. Yes, part of the Sacred 28. It's just not much.
yeah.
We know they're at St. Mungo's. It's just not very much. Which
wish
is
we knew
really
more.
sad. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I want to know what they did.
They were both Aurors, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Alice's fact file is way smaller. It just says Alice Longbottom skills Auror. Okay, she was more than that.
Thanks,
more.
Joe.
Yeah. Well,
Mother to Neville.
yeah. So, thus ends the red.
She gives her son gum wrappers, doesn't she? When she
Yeah.
does.
Dribbles, yeah.
So there are theories that she has things written in them.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Did
My
you
heart.
also hear about the theory how he went back before, and he told her about how he wanted to propose to Hannah Abbott. And then she calls him back, and he's expecting another rapper, but then it's her ring.
Yes, I've seen that.
Why do you want to make me cry again?
I'm sorry.
It's so cute.
Jeez.
I don't know what's with me today.
I love
I'm
that.
really
I love that
crying.
little, like, I don't know. It's like gone around on Tumblr and stuff. Tumblr.
Gosh, guys, my
All
notes
right.
were like long.
All right. Do we want to talk about the killing curse?
Killing curse.
Kill me because I can't stop crying.
All right. So,
Everyone does that. All right, so it's my part.
We all do.
yeah, sorry.
All right,
I'm not going to be able to do it. I tried really hard with my summary to not.
It's hard.
It is very hard.
Moody asks for the final one, and
Does it?
Hermione
Or was
is
it Judy.
Judy. Asks for the final one, and Hermione is actually scared to answer, but she puts her hand up and says that the final unforgivable is Avada Kedavra. I think that this is massive foreshadowing here. We already know what the killing curse is, but this is us like hearing it for the first time, seeing it really for the first time as well. And Harry will see it for the first time this year too on a human instead of right now.
I have a question.
Well, the first time he remembers it,
Right.
I have a question.
we may have an answer.
If the killing curse basically snuffs you out, why does Lily have an opportunity to scream?
I think that the screaming he hears is
That's not what the
Well, because
movie
he kept.
shows.
I mean, Voldemort like
maybe.
gave her a chance to get out.
Yeah, I know, but she
He-
was talking. She was pleading with him rather than just screaming. I win.
I feel like it's her like final blow to
she's
know.
I don't. I knew.
No.
Okay, well, I just think that she knew it was coming, and she was going to scream anyways because she probably didn't realize that her son was going to survive.
Right, so it's almost
She's
like her
probably
way of
screaming for
mourning
him.
Harry
Her
already.
grief. Yeah. That's
Grief
sad.
for Harry. She has no idea that that what she is doing right now is going to protect Harry. You know, like she has no clue that's about to happen.
How do you know she doesn't know?
Because otherwise she wouldn't have.
She would have given her life.
Well, yeah, I know. No, I'm not saying she wouldn't have done it. I'm saying she wouldn't be as scared to do it, because I think a lot of her fear obviously was her losing her own life, but more so I think it was her son losing his life.
Well, and the pain of losing her husband.
Exactly. So I think
can't
that-
talk about this.
It's
Why
really
did
sad.
anybody bring that up?
All right.
Okay. All right, Tiffany.
So we know that Harry has seen the killing curse before, at least like in a very faded memory from when he's a baby. But him being taught this right now, yes, we know that, you know, we've talked about it endlessly already with Tiffany's part about why these are being shown to them. But I think as well that it's just Joe's way of foreshadowing the end of the book, because Harry is going to see Cedric get killed with it for like in front of his own eyes, old enough to remember it for real.
Kill despair.
Unfortunately. So Avada Kedavra has its own fact file on Pottermore. It does. It says it's a powerful curse which instantly kills the victim. Its purpose is instant death. And there is... Well, this is a little quote from this chapter. It says, Harry looked around. From the looks on everyone's faces, he guessed they were all wondering what was going to happen to the last spider.
Get toast.
This isn't a good topic for her. Hi, Alana.
Hey.
Say hello, swishers.
Hello. Hi, Sweet Pea.
All right, we got a podcast. You gonna help us, okay?
All right, I'll send you these pictures because she's too cute for words.
All right.
All right. So I found
All right, so.
I found another article on Pottermore called "What is the worst spell from the Wizarding World?" which is pretty interesting because it starts here saying, "Some would say." Is that what they say? Is that what they say?
You keep going.
She was like, whoa, that came out of me.
Some would say there's no spell worse than Avada Kedavra, the killing curse that Voldemort used so indiscriminately, but it's definitely not the Wizarding world's only unforgivable curse. And beyond those three, there are other types of magic that arguably do more harm than anything else. So what is the worst thing a witch or wizard could cast? Let's take a look. I'm just going to skim this because it's pretty long, but there's just some interesting things in it. So one of the things they bring up is legilimens. So it's an unpleasantly intrusive spell that has means to access another person's thoughts and memories. So some people think that that's a pretty bad one. Also, we have Imperio, obviously, which we just talked about. Avada Kedavra, Sectum Sempra.
Ooh, that one's tough.
Yeah.
Wrote,
Sounds great.
It's
written,
amazing.
written for enemies in the Half-Blood Prince's textbook, Crucio, and creating a Horcrux.
Well,
So there's plenty of other super dark magic out there besides the Unforgivables that we can't forget about.
Imagine the stuff we don't even know.
I know.
that's what you are.
I would say that's what they are because they're
That's
spells.
what they are.
So
Unforgivable.
Harry feels a sense of foreboding as Moody prepares to kill the spider, and I was going to read from the chapter. Moody raised his wand, and Harry felt a sudden thrill of foreboding. A sudden thrill. So right now, I think he's not really come to terms with what he's about to see, in a way.
Well, sometimes a thrill, when I think of it, I think of that chilling bucket of ice that drops in your stomach when you something bad's gonna happen.
True.
But I wonder if he is like, what's it? Excited
am
like
I
he was
gonna see
before,
this?
and then he sees it and he's like,
And then
Oh.
it hits him what he's seeing.
yeah, I wonder which
Well,
one it is.
I wonder if it's kind of like in the last book when his memory, when he wants to be by the Dementors because that's the only time he gets to hear his parents, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time he
good
hasn't
point.
heard them. So I wonder if that's that feeling where he's
True.
a little bit more of a connection to his parents.
as sad as it is,
yeah.
Yeah.
It says, there was a flash of blinding green light and a rushing sound as though a vast invisible something was soaring through the air. Instantaneously, the spider rolled over onto its back, unmarked but unmistakably dead. Several of the students stifled cries. Ron had thrown himself backward and almost toppled off his seat as the spider skidded toward him. I like how that's what Ron's worried about, that the dead spider is.
Progressively gets further and further away.
Yeah.
With each
until he's out the door.
Yeah, pretty much.
It would freak me out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Moody swept the dead spider off the desk onto the floor. Not nice, he said calmly. Not pleasant. And there's no counter curse. There's no blocking it. Only one known person has ever survived it, and he's sitting right in front of me.
Another thing I really like from the movie
croissant.
that Brendan Gleeson does a great job here. I love this scene because he the way his voice is and how he says it, and he's sitting here in this room, you know what I mean?
So
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Did you like it too, Alana?
She's licking the recap hat.
Yeah, I never really thought about or realized that this was the first time Harry is seeing a visualization of how his parents died.
That's why he can't tear his eyes away. You know what I
Right,
mean?
because he's heard it, he's seen the green light, but he's never seen the outcome of what that spell does.
And he's someone that has to be in the know.
Well, do we
Right.
want to correlate that to cursed child? He's there.
Right.
He's
No,
like,
yeah, and
because
he
Ginny's
has-
like, you
yeah.
don't have to look, and he's like, no, I have to.
Right.
I can't not look.
Guys,
Right.
it's just sickening. My heart.
It is.
Oh,
I had another little read from chapter. So that was how his parents had died, exactly like that spider. Had they been unblemished and unmarked too? Had they simply seen the flash of green light and heard the rush of speeding death before life was wiped from their bodies? Harry had been picturing his parents' deaths over and over again for 3 years now, ever since he'd found out they had been murdered, ever since he'd found out what had happened that night. Wormtail had betrayed his parents' whereabouts to Voldemort, who had come to find them at their cottage. How Voldemort had killed Harry's father first. How James Potter had tried to hold him off while he shouted at his wife to take Harry and run. Voldemort had advanced on Lily Potter, told her to move aside so that he could kill Harry. How she had begged him to kill her instead, refused to stop shielding her son, and so Voldemort had murdered her too before turning his wand on Harry. Harry knew these details because he had heard his parents' voices when he had fought the Dementors last year, for that was the terrible power of the Dementors, to force their victims to relive the worst memories of their lives and drown powerless in their own despair. Moody was speaking again from a great distance, it seemed to Harry. With a massive effort, he pulled himself back to the present and listened to what Moody was saying.
Judy.
Judy.
You're reading from the book.
That's so sad. Like, I never
Yeah.
realized, even though I reread this chapter like twice already, just this time, that 3 years
Yeah,
that he's been like reliving that his worst day ever.
right.
It's
Yeah.
horrific, and it makes me want to cry.
Because before that, he had really no idea how it happened. I mean, he just envisioned a car crash, which, you know,
Well, and he remembered the green light too.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, the green light. Yeah, that was the first thing.
So Judy explains to them that you need to feel it in order for it to work. So he said that the class could all point their wands at him right at that moment and say the words of Avada Kedavra, but he wouldn't get killed. He probably would barely get a scratch on him. And this is the case for all of the Unforgivables. You have to mean them whenever you use them.
I like that.
Yeah.
You know, because when else with magic do we know that you have to lock a feeling to something? Patronus.
Yep.
Unforgivable curses. Is there any more? Are there any more that I'm not getting?
Well, in Lupin, I don't think so, but Lupin says how difficult that spell is because there's meaning behind it.
Yeah.
So it's not refreshing, but like it's nice to know that these spells aren't just like, you know, willy-nilly like Accio or something like that.
Yeah.
Where you just say it and it happens. You have to actually have meaning behind this. So
Right. So you can't just have kids be like,
take
Avada.
mom and dad's wand when they're, you know, little and just like
Which is refreshing because you hear stories of like real time life where unfortunately kids get a hold of things like guns and
replace the wand with
accidentally-
a gun because wands honestly are just as dangerous.
Oh yeah, more. I'd say
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a fair point.
Judy tells us that he isn't here to teach them how to do it. He's here to show them because they have to know.
Yeah.
They need to appreciate what the worst is. You don't want to find yourself in a situation where you're facing it. Constant vigilance. So we find out that using any of those 3 curses would land a human a life sentence in Azkaban. And when they left the classroom, Harry could hear everyone discussing it like it was a show, but Harry did not find it entertaining at all. And I think refreshing for Harry, neither had Hermione. So he wasn't alone in these feelings when he was exiting the classroom. Hermione was focused on Neville. He looked horrified, wide-eyed, and was staring at a stone wall. And he clearly had something on his mind. So Judy comes toward them and offers Neville a cup of tea. He seems to have frightened Neville more. Can you blame the kid for being scared? No. Also, it's sort of bone-chilling here to think that the man who tortured his parents is going to try to console him.
Tortured and killed.
who else though?
Oh, not killed.
Killed.
That was so stupid. Sorry. Tortured.
Oh, Alana was like, what just happened?
It wasn't just him.
No, Bellatrix.
No, it was him and Bellatrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanna,
Bellatrix Lestrange.
But it just like, to me, just thinking like, because we know this information now, it's like, hold on. Because, you know, reading it the first time, I'm just like, oh, obviously the first time we're reading this, we don't know who Moody is. We think he's legitimately Moody. So we're like, oh, well, it's nice of him to console him. But like, just think of how sick it is that this is the man that actually tortured Alice and Frank.
Right.
And he's going up to Neville saying, come have a cup of tea. And he's going to try to console him.
I wonder if
no.
he like gets his rocks off by that. You know what I mean? Like he enjoys that.
Probably.
Oh, I'm sure.
Like
Yeah.
because I
mean,
mean, I
he's
wonder
a
does
sick
Neville
individual.
like confide in him and say how his parents are still. I don't know. That's just sad and sick and ugh.
yeah.
And then Judy, I forgot what we were calling him, then says, it seems harsh, maybe, but you've got to know. And at this point, when I was doing my notes, I was still kind of questioning it. Like, did they need to see that? But like, yeah, I think they did. And unfortunately, in any other situation, they should have seen it and learned it later. But because of circumstances,
Sometimes.
it is what it is.
Well, and I think too, like, because we know that the books are getting darker and everything, they're gonna see it. So why not the first time seeing it in like a controlled way in a
Right.
classroom with spiders and not real people yet?
She just like ate my mic. What are you doing?
This is a serious conversation.
And then lastly, Ron seems somewhat interested in the lesson, saying Fred and George were right. He really knows his stuff, but he does see Harry's face and goes pretty quiet after that.
Yeah. I mean, it's a learning experience for him.
Oh, yeah.
Being, showing empathy when you just recognizing that you need to show empathy.
Yeah. Well, because he's never been exposed to that yet.
Yeah. And we can't
And,
fault him.
yeah,
We
I
can't.
mean-
No.
You can't.
Ron does learn. He may be
Yes.
super naive right now and at times can seem a little daft, but he comes around and he learns from
He does.
from his mistakes.
Let's talk about him for just a second, because all I want to say is I love him.
Me too.
He's my favorite trio member.
Same.
And my thing is, like, yes, no one in this book is perfect, in any of them. But he, like, when people, like, give him grief and say, like, he was to this and to that for Hermione or just in general, he's a kid. You have to remember this. So it's going to take him time to grow up and mature and do all of those things and learn.
I mean, how many
All
people
of
did
them.
you know growing up like that? You know what I mean? Like, he's a kid. Yeah, like you said, he's a kid. He's a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
you know, new teenager.
I am completely different
Yeah.
than even when I was in high school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we all are.
Being
yeah.
exposed to new things.
Sarah and I met whenever, at this time in the trio's lives, and we were very different.
I love how you're like, Sarah and I met, like, we were in high school. Yeah, we were young. We've known
No,
each
I'm
other a
just
long
saying,
time.
like, we were 14, like,
I think
just
we were
like
15.
No, because it was
I was 15.
You
It
were
was
15.
yeah.
I was 14. But like,
So roughly this.
yeah, it's just like we're at the same because Hermione is 15 here. But
Is she? Is
yeah.
it the end of September? No.
All right.
Whatever.
I'm just saying her birthday's September 19th, but close, yes.
Sound like me.
Ooh, you're Tiffany.
But it's just like think about what we were like whenever we met, and like right now how the trio is, and think about how the trio will be at the end of the series, and how we were as seniors, like totally different people.
Yeah. You were a totally different person 3 months later, our sophomore year.
It's because I got cool.
Okay.
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dyed my hair black.
Well, red. Black
Chopped
was
it
really
off.
Black.
All
Yeah,
right.
she was very preppy freshman year, and then like sophomore year. The best part was we took French together, but it was French 1, so we were with a bunch of freshmen. And someone was like, "Are you guys best friends?" We looked at each other. We're like, no."
Gosh. The same
We asked our French teacher how you would say, I believe that is my stapler. Do you have my stapler or something like that? Whatever that line is in
From,
French. And then I put it in my AIM profile.
I believe you have my stapler.
Yeah, I had that in French on my AIM profile.
I believe I did as well.
Oh, are we ready for the
The ads.
Yeah. Do you want to read it? Attention, dear Swishers. Adventure is out there. Why settle for ordinary chain store coffee when you can have an adventure in every cup with Expedition Roasters, artisanal roasters of pop culture coffees. Now you can experience a little theme park magic every day at your own home. Can you believe that?
I can.
Each themed bag features custom artwork by guest artists that make it perfect for displaying in your kitchen or office. Legitimately beautiful bags. And they also have teas now. Try one of our premium wizarding roasts like Book Smart Blueberry, Charming Chocolate Cherry,
Chevy.
Cunning Caramel Crunch, or Big Hearted Butterscotch.
Butterscotch.
Those last two are my favorites. So good.
The first two are my favorite.
And I can't read the rest of this because my contact is blurry. All of their coffees are certified gluten and allergen free. So start your coffee adventure today at expeditionroasters.com and use coupon code SWISHFLICK15 to save 15% off your first purchase. Brew your happy place. They also have mugs. They also have coffee like spoons. Is that what scoops, spoons? Other
sorry.
fun things.
She's like, it probably sounds awful.
Sweet pay.
Piglet.
Let's learn about Audible.
Audible.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible's offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast and browse the selection of audio programs, download a free title, and start listening. It's really that easy. So go to audible.com/swishflickcast to get started today. Why Audible? Audible content includes an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading audiobook publishers, broadcasters, and entertainers. You can get all 7 of the Harry Potter books, Fantastic Beasts, Quidditch Through the Ages, History of Magic, and a behind-the-scenes audiobook with Dan Fogler on Crimes of Grindelwald. I listen to all of the Harry Potter audiobooks on Audible on my long drives to and from work. And when you sign up, you get 1 audiobook for free, so you can pick whichever book you'd like. Just go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast to download your free audiobook today.
What did she do?
She just hit me in the face.
There's some baby crime going on.
She's cute. I'll allow it.
Okay.
All right.
Back to our regularly broadcasted program.
This is Harry Potter.
Harry and Ron head back to the Gryffindor common room, and they decide that they had better get their divination homework done. And Ron's probably, I think he suggests it, and he's probably just trying to find something other than what he just realized Harry's going through to discuss, you know?
Yeah, totally getting him off topic.
Yeah.
You've got to be thinking about something else.
Yeah. So they find Neville alone in their dorm. And he does
She doesn't like that they're cheating on their homework.
Hey, we're not to that part yet. He does seem to be doing a lot better. He had tea with Joody. And Joody lent him a book, Magical Water Plants of the Mediterranean. Hint, hint, Mr. Potter.
Yep.
Yeah. So in the movie, this book's role is replaced by Magical Water Plants of the Highland Lochs. I don't really know why they do small things like that and just like change a book title when you could just keep it the same.
That means that Gilly water is from the lakes of Scotland. I just got that. Duh.
Well, I don't know because the book in the book is from the Mediterranean.
Oh,
Not
never
from
mind.
Scotland.
Well, in the movie, it's from Scotland.
But apparently, Professor Sprout told Joody that Neville was very good at herbology. And he tells Harry and Ron this with a faint note of pride in his voice that Harry had rarely ever heard in his voice before. Aww. So finally, Neville has some grounds to be proud of something. So good for him.
Yeah.
And this is a quote from the book, but Harry's thinking. Telling Neville what Professor Sprout had said, Harry thought had been a very tactful way of cheering Neville up, for Neville very rarely heard that he was good at anything. It was the sort of thing Professor Lupin would have done. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Alana.
We're gonna have to send her upstairs.
No, it's cute.
She's not a fan of Lupin, I guess.
Alana.
Who's your favorite Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher? Oh, that went far away.
Is it Joody?
Say nothing if you like Joody.
Oh, no. All right, so Harry and Ron set up in the common room to do their divination homework. And after an hour, they had literally made no progress. Sounds like me when I really don't want to start something.
Yep.
I remember sometime in college, I was like, I found this post on Facebook that I did, and I was like, oh, I have this paper due tomorrow. I have my name at the top. That was like it. So Harry mentions his brain feels as fogged as though he were sitting in Trelawney's classroom. Yeah. Harry, I feel you.
Yep.
Ron suggests it's time to go back to the old divination standby.
I love this.
Wasn't
I like pointing this out to you? I was like, I love this.
It's so good. So I'm just going to read it from the book because it's just too good not to. Next Monday, he said as he scribbled, I am likely to develop a cough owing to the unlucky conjunction of Mars and Jupiter. He looked up at Harry. You know her. Just put in loads of misery. She'll lap it up. Right, said Harry, crumpling up his first attempt and lobbing it over the heads of a group of chattering first years into the fire. Okay, on Monday, I will be in danger of burns. Yeah, you will be, said Ron darkly. We're seeing the Scroots again on Monday. Okay, Tuesday,
He's a seer.
Lose a treasured possession, said Harry, who was flicking through Unfogging the Future for ideas. Good one, said Ron, copying it down, because of Mercury. Why don't you get stabbed in the back by someone you thought was a friend? Yeah, cool, said Harry, scribbling it down, because Venus is in the 12th house. And on Wednesday, I think I'll come off worse in a fight. I was going to have a fight. Okay, I'll lose a bet. Yeah, you'll be betting I'll win my fight. So they keep making up predictions, which grew steadily more tragic, of course, for about another hour while the common room slowly started to empty as people went to bed. And I have to point this out because it's a cat, and I like the description. So Crookshanks wandered over to them, leapt lightly into an empty chair, and stared inscrutably at Harry, rather as Hermione might look if she knew they weren't doing their homework properly.
She knew.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he knew.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
For sure. Harry notices Fred and George. They're acting strange again. They're sitting alone in a corner again, heads together, quills out. They're poring over a piece of parchment. That's really unusual because they're normally like the center of it all.
Right.
So there's something secretive about the way they're working on it. And Harry thinks about how they look like this at the Burrow. At that time, he thought it was just another Weasley's Wizard Wheezes order form, but it didn't look like that this time. And if it was, like, surely Lee Jordan would be in on the joke. And he's wondering if it has something to do with the Triwizard Tournament. No, you're wrong. It has nothing to do with any of those things.
But those are like really good guesses.
Yeah, for sure. If you know Fred and George.
Do we want to talk about the fact that, like,
What they're
they
doing.
kind of got the stuff right?
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I will try to pay attention and see if these things happen. But then Sarah was like, no, they do all happen. Do you have like a thing?
There's a Hypable article. My nose really itches.
Do it.
3 amazing moments of foreshadowing in Goblet of Fire. They inadvertently foretell the dangers Harry will face throughout the tournament because he's like in danger of burns. Dragon.
Yeah.
He later says lose a treasured possession. Ron.
Yes.
And then he's stabbed in the back by someone he thought was a friend, Mad-Eye Moody / Barty Crouch Jr. before coming off the worst in a duel or fight, his duel with Voldemort.
Because he lost Cedric.
Harry's really good at divination, guys.
Literally,
Get out of my house.
Harry's a seer.
You're a seer, Harry. I win. That's why I got all
Yeah.
those trophies.
He's totally a seer. And I have to, well, you guys already know if you've listened to all the episodes in order before listening to this, but like Cursed Child solidified that for me. Hardcore.
It's so good, guys.
He's
You're
a seer.
welcome.
He's a seer.
We need to put that on a shirt.
You're a seer, Harry. Can we?
Sure.
Yes.
Just for you. All right. And lastly, Harry watches and then hears Fred say quietly to George, "No, that sounds like we're accusing him. Got to be careful." And George notices Harry looking at him, and Harry does like what I've done so many times in my life when you're caught looking at somebody and you smile real quick and look away.
I do that all the time. And
I
here's the
hate
thing.
it.
I thought about it today. So I go to the bathroom a million times a day because I try to drink a gallon of water every day. As a teacher, that is no easy task. So I see the same people in their offices, and I like walk by every time, and I'm like, awkward smile. It's like you can't say hi to them every time.
Right.
Go to the So, but like a lot of people will like actively like not look at people, and I'm like, just it's awkward.
I know. Just wrapping it up shortly after the twins head up to bed. That's it. They notice Harry eavesdropping.
Katie,
Get
I'm
out of there. No, you're fine. I'm done.
You should apologize to me. No, just kidding, because she's literally the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I want to point out that Vinny said also stab in the back could have also potentially been Ron being jealous of him being a champion.
Correct.
I agree.
Yeah.
And even though he's not controlling himself, it makes me just think of Crumb in the maze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
like he'll go to get him. I don't know, but he
That-
didn't really like. Crumb got other people stabbing him back.
That
You know
would
what I
be
mean?
3
Attacking.
people.
I don't know. No, not Crumb at all. I take it back.
Wait, hit the bell again and see what she does.
Where was that from, babe?
Guys, we have something to tell you. I don't know if you guys know this, but Alana's training to become the permanent Ravenclaw host. You want to read my section? I don't know how to read yet, Aunt Sarah. I can't even really talk. All right. So Hermione is back on the scene, and she's got something to tell her boys. So she's just finished what she was working on, and so is Ron. So she obviously has to look over his work. And so she goes, not going to have a very good month, are you? And he's like, well, at least I'm forewarned. She's like, you seem to be drowning twice. He's like, oh, am I? I'd better change one of them to getting trampled by a rampaging hippogriff. And so Hermione is like, you don't think it's going to be obvious y'all made this stuff up? And Ron is mock outraged. She's like, whoa, lady, nah. I've been working like a house elf. Wrong thing to say. And I wrote, wrong person to say that to, Ron. You should know this by now. So he finished his predictions with his death by decapitation and asks Hermione about the box that she has. So there are about 50 badges inside, all different colors, and they all have the same letters. Spew. But really it's S-P-E-W. So what is spew? And she's like, not spew, but S-P-E-W.
Spew is what I did on the Forbidden Journey.
So it's a society for the Society for the Promotion of Elfish Welfare. So no one has heard of it because Hermione just started it, and they will have 3 members if her best friends join her.
Hey, be in my club.
And so Hermione wants Ron and Harry to wear the buttons that say spew. And then they're like, do you think that they want to walk around with them? That's a hard no. And then she's very mad. She's like, S-P-E-W. She's like, I was going to put stop the outrageous abuse of our fellow magical creatures and campaign for a change in their legal status, but it wouldn't fit it. So that's the heading of her manifesto. And I said, I like a manifesto. Let's put it to the testo.
What?
It's from a song. I
my-
like a manifesto. We'll put it to the testo.
I love Hermione here. I really do.
Oh, excuse you.
She just reminds me of me, and it makes me smile.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she tried to make me be a vegetarian in high school, and I was like,
We already went over this. We're not doing it again.
No, all I'm saying is I did not before say that she tried to make me. Obviously, I did not.
I just suggested it to
Can't
you.
make
Strongly suggested it.
I suggest.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you what?
Proving my point. You can't force people to do something.
What do I say to the kids at school? I say, you control you.
So she's been researching how the enslavement goes back centuries, and she's shocked that no one has done anything about it yet. I said, I wonder if anyone else has tried. Newt maybe was what I was thinking. Tried like doing anything about the house elves. Because he was the first person that came to mind thinking about it.
But I wonder, because think of all the, quote, like seasoned people in the Wizarding world. Like think of Nearly Headless Nick's reaction. They don't want, and I wonder if Newt takes that same stance.
I don't think he would because nobody wanted to like talk about creatures and care about them. You know what I mean?
I just wonder.
I don't know. I would say that he was more Hermione-like in that aspect than Nearly Headless Nick.
Okay. I would love to find out though. Like I want to know what he thinks.
Yes, I agree.
Dear Joe.
Right. Well, no.
We'll just call
Dear
her
Newt.
Dear Newt.
Did you get better?
I got better.
That is getting so old for
Yes.
people, I bet.
So
Sorry.
Ron tries to tell Hermione that the house elves like being enslaved, but like I doubt they all love it. I mean, example is Dobby. He is very happy to be freed, but also he comes from a bad house.
Right.
Like I'm sure that there's houses that are examples of of good families, and even Hogwarts. Like I think that's like a good haven for a lot of them. Good, bad, ugly, that have come from all these things, you know what I mean? But Hermione ignores him, and then she like tries even talking louder. And so she's like, here are some of our goals. So secure house elves fair wages and working conditions, change the law about non-wand use, get an elf into the Department for the Regulation and Control of Magical Creatures. They're very underrepresented. And I think that's a very good idea because I think that in any situation, you need people for the cause that like directly affects them. Realistically, this would not directly affect Hermione, but would directly affect the house elves. They should be in there. They should be at the table having that conversation with the rest of them. Mm-hmm. And so they will accomplish these things by recruiting members. She wants members to pay 2 sickles to join, and that gets them a badge, and the proceeds can go to the leaflet campaign. So Ron, you're the treasurer, and Harry, you're the secretary. And she wants him to start recording their first meeting, which is right now.
She's like, you should probably be taking notes, right?
She's expecting him to do it. Like, why aren't you writing them? Why haven't you been writing everything down?
This is Megan.
What?
I could see you doing that.
Yeah, probably.
And I would be them being like, sure, not writing anything.
Sarah's like, sure, yeah, give me the money. I'll be the treasurer.
So Hermione pauses, and then Harry and Ron really didn't know what to say, like what to do, but they're saved, thank gosh, by the bird. Hedwig, baby, she's back.
Caw-caw.
From Harrius.
She finally has an answer from Sirius, and it says, and I quote from the book, Harry, I'm flying north immediately. This news is about your scar is the latest in a series of strange rumors that have reached me here. If it hurts again, go straight to Dumbledore. They're saying he's got Mad Eye out of retirement, which means he's reading the signs, even if no one else is. Ooh. I'll be in touch soon. My best to Ron and Hermione. Keep your eyes open, Harry.
Do you think the ceiling of Hogwarts was the sign?
Yeah, I think those.
No, but I know we talked about it, and I said that he was looking up at the ceiling, and he had like this look on his face, and I was like, he knows what's up. But I'm just wondering if that ceiling, if Hogwarts always has like a sign in their like about like the war or about like I guess evil or something coming. Like I wonder if it was like that in the First Wizarding War, and I wonder if it was like that for like maybe even Grindelwald like back in the day.
I mean, Hogwarts literally
It's living.
breathes magic. Yeah. So.
Do you think?
Oh, I'm sure I could.
Do you think that's a literal sign?
She is so excited. She's slamming her hands on the table.
Like, I know it reflects the weather and whatever, but it seemed to be different that day. You know what I'm saying?
Hedwig is back. Back again. Sirius is coming back, and there are signs Dumbledore is reading. So Harry is not happy, to say the least, that Sirius is coming back. He thinks he shouldn't have said anything to him. He doesn't want Sirius to get caught. Coming back because he thinks I'm in trouble and there's nothing wrong with me. That's not true, Harry. So Hedwig is mad that Harry basically shoos her away because he doesn't have anything for her and tells her to go to the owlery if she wants food.
He is kind of snappy.
I would agree. So I don't blame lovely little Hedwig for having an attitude because he was very short with him. What is wrong with me? So, and I wanted to read this from the book because I thought it was funny. Hedwig gave him an extremely offended look and took off for the open window, cuffing him around the head with her outstretched wing as she went.
Yeah, Hedwig.
So Harry goes to bed and he thinks about how it will be his fault if Sirius gets caught because he is coming back for Harry. So his scar isn't hurting that much. So Ron comes up to bed, but they don't really talk at all. And then I wish Tiffany was here for this because it's so sad. So he realizes, because he can't sleep, that he also can't hear or doesn't hear Neville's snores. So he must not be the only one who can't sleep that night. So it shows you how much that class and probably the conversation afterwards affected Neville.
Even though he seemed better later. I mean, like, have you ever you're distracted by things all day, and then as soon as it's quiet or you're on your own, like maybe something that was bothering you, like will just come seeping back in your head, and you can't stop it.
And I know with me and like my anxiety, I'll replay the entire day in my head when I'm like in bed. So like I'll go over all the things that like I wish I hadn't have done this, and I wish this was different, or days that like were fine days and I wasn't anxious or anything. I do think about things that happened in the past, like, so I'm sure Neville's sitting there thinking about his parents and how he wished he could have done something, or wished they had done something different, or just wished things were different.
It's the best when your brain's like, hey, remember that thing you did 5 years ago that was really embarrassing, that nobody cared about? You should care about it right now.
Gosh, anxiety sucks, man.
Yup. Anyone out there, we feel you.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry for me. Sorry for all of us.
But we got each other. It's okay.
All right. Do we want to wait for her to come back to do the bolt of lightning questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can
Here,
do that.
we'll ask people to send us some.
Do you think with Mad Eye's eye...
I spy with my mad eye.
I was thinking the same thing.
Were you really?
I was. If he like had a brain tumor, God forbid, or something, would he be able to see it?
Yes.
Whoa.
Probs.
Like,
I mean, he
inside
can
his own
see
body?
through tables in the back of his
does he
head.
just see through his like, or does he have to go through like, you know how like Clark Kent has to learn, like he doesn't just one day able to see through all these buildings. It takes him a little bit.
He has to hone his skill.
Yeah.
No,
I
I'm
think that's what Mad Eye first did, was like, oh, I gotta see through my brain today.
I don't know, but it's not Mad Eye. It's Judy.
I'm asking about Mad Eye though, in general.
I don't think that it has to be a skill because Judy was able to pick up on it so quickly.
Yeah,
you know?
but what I'm saying though is like, can he just look into his own body?
Yes.
I would think so.
Probably.
Y'all suck. I'm just kidding.
No, you can't. Moving on.
It's
All right.
terrible. Sorry.
What do you think Judy did or said to comfort Neville when he called him back after class? Was this too early for Judy to know about the gillyweed requirement? What words of comfort did he say?
I think that he did know.
Oh,
Well,
definitely.
you know
I
what?
think he knew.
Yeah, I think he
Because
was
this is when he
time.
gave Neville the book that would.
All the tasks were planned out by the committee, and
Right,
I guarantee
yeah.
each teacher knew what was up.
Yeah.
With the words of encouragement, I doubt he had any. I think that he had a frank conversation with him and was probably like, I
Constant
know,
vigilance.
I know what happened, and you know what I mean? Like, I don't see him as the type that, like,
Oh, I think he catered to him. I think he was like, "Oh, I know about your parents and blah blah blah," and I think he probably gave him a little more details.
but like, I wonder,
I think he played it up.
I wonder if he had the conversation of being like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Not to the point where, like, obviously, like, he's whatever and he did it, all that stuff, but, like,
Yeah.
this is what happened. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And sometimes that's comforting to people to know exactly what happened in all of the details.
Yeah, I think that whatever he did, it did comfort Neville to a point, and he did it to keep up his act.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So,
Like, he doesn't seem like the type that's like a, you know,
comforter.
yeah.
Not like
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like a person that's comforting someone.
yeah. He would do it in a way different way.
Not in a I cover you in a bed sort of way.
Oh
He
my
wouldn't do
gosh.
it in a Hufflepuff way.
Yes. Yeah, like he doesn't do I wouldn't say him as like a huggy,
Yeah.
touchy-feely kind of guy. Like he's more gruff.
yeah, kind of like, suck it up. It's going to be okay. Clap you on the back.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Next one. What would you add as an unforgivable curse?
Tickling.
Vinny says he would.
Bless you.
Vinny says he would add obliviate as an unforgivable.
Well, you read that cool article.
Oh,
There's
a
lot
real
of good
spell.
ones.
I think
Rictum Sempra.
I said tickling.
that's Rictum Sembra.
Yeah, that's a tickling spell.
Well, and they do
See, you
say
knew. It's good.
In real time life, they say that like if you are tickling a kid for a certain amount of time, like longer than like 30 seconds to a minute or something, like that's technically abuse. Like because it's like I know for myself because I'm very ticklish, like it's uncomfortable. Like as much as you're laughing, like that's just your body's reaction to it. Don't tickle kids too much.
Call me a ticklehead.
I think Sectum Sempra should be.
Yeah, I think so too.
I know that it's
agree.
not a known spell, but like now that it is known, I think it should be because it's. I mean, there's no reason but harm with that spell. Like,
Could you use it on like what if you're making a salad? I know you wouldn't be doing it, but what if it's like a good slicing up the lettuce
Sectum
real quick?
Sempra, an onion for some soup. I don't think that that's what it's meant for.
I would agree, but I wonder if that's just like cooking with flair, you know?
That's so funny.
Snape in the kitchen.
Bam.
He cooks with Dementors. Kiss the chef.
Oh.
Kiss the cook. Is that what it is?
Oh my gosh.
Have you
You're
seen that?
extra.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the apron.
Yes.
I don't know. It could probably is genderless.
If you could choose to make a bad joke like Harry, what would it be?
A bad joke.
Yeah.
Any
What was his bad joke?
Any
all the
Sarah
time.
jokes?
Facts.
Puns are my favorite. I would make all the bad jokes.
We're really funny tonight.
Well, we got all of our jokes out before we started recording.
Right?
Jokes.
I got jokes.
I like jokes.
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 This is a good one. What would you look at with Mad Eye's eye?
Marty.
You don't need Mad Eye's eye to look at that.
Ooh, I would look for buried treasure.
Oh, that's a good one. I'd
Yeah.
go to the beach, find me some diamonds.
Beach, let's go get away. Away, wait, what they gonna say?
Okay.
I didn't know we had Nicki Minaj up in here.
Well, we do.
Yeah.
No, what would I look at? I'd be afraid to look through the ground. You don't know where the bodies are.
No, that's why I immediately went to ocean, and it
The ocean terrifies me.
freaks me out that there
Yeah.
are like ships and
It freaks me out how much like unexplored ocean there is.
Well, think about,
Weird.
back in the day when that was the means of travel, and think about how many unrecorded, undocumented
Right.
ships are down.
Yeah.
we can't. It's freaking me out.
And all the creatures we don't know about yet.
Right.
Because they're out there, lurking in the depths, trying to see with your little light in the fangs. You know?
I want to find Dory and Nemo because I heard they're missing.
No, they're found. They were both found.
No, they only found Nemo.
They found
Oh,
Dory.
they found Dory. Okay,
Get
so
real. Do you
Marlin's
even know
missing.
Disney?
Marlin's missing.
Wait, what? Is that how it ended? I didn't particularly care for Finding Dory because it made me really, really sad.
Well, welcome to
I mean,
Disney.
it was a good movie, but it was really sad. Like the whole thing, I was like, I think I'm more depressed after watching this.
I really didn't like Ralph Wrecks the Internet. Sorry if that's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I have not watched it.
It's not good.
The first one's amazing.
But that has nothing to do with Harry Potter. So how do you think Judy got the jump on Moody?
That's the greatest sentence I've ever seen.
They were like,
Good question.
Junior was like, hey, look over there. And Moody was like, where? And so Junior was like, Kazam. Gotcha.
Who's that over there? It's Ernie Mac.
And I'm basically the best. I bet you that he probably scoped him out and like saw what he did every day, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
And then was like caught him at
Got
the
his
right
schedule
moment.
down.
Think
Yeah.
of
Wait, hold on. Help me. Was Moody having trouble like all summer with stuff? Because when Amos came through, he was like, "It's Moody again." Is this just from the past, or do you think he had trouble all summer from knowing that someone was watching him?
Yeah, probably.
But I wonder, not so much, what if he was watching him all summer since he was, well,
I think that's what Tiffany meant, right?
Yeah,
Like Barty.
well, he wasn't out all summer.
Well, I
but
guess
you know what I
Out,
mean.
but like
It
I
was
wonder
from
if
the
he
cup.
was doing it.
From the
like I
cup.
wonder if Barty was doing it. Like if Junior was making strange things happen
yeah.
around Moody.
Yeah.
But either way, I like them both. You know,
From the time at the cup to when he was attacked
Yeah.
was how long though?
It was a couple days, wasn't it?
at least
Okay,
or like a week,
So what?
a week or two, I think.
was that Junior's only outing?
We don't know that for sure
Because I wonder if
he was able to fight it off for a while.
he let him go out a little bit, like, and I wonder if that's like where he went.
Or even if
Maybe.
he didn't let him out and he left anyways.
Correct. What if
Keep
he had to
up
like
the
get it? We don't know
rules.
how many times he left and had to like get, like somebody had to go get him. You know what I mean? Like escape and
Or he like
Capture,
convinced
blah, blah,
Winky
blah.
maybe to like take him out.
Sounds awful.
yeah. No, yeah.
Kill me right now. Take me out.
I thought she
But
meant
like,
take him out
wait,
on the
hold
town.
on. Now I'm like breaking down what I said, and it doesn't make sense. Because didn't they come up with the plan with? Wait,
When did
when did he get to Voldemort?
After the cup, for sure.
No, but when Harry dreamed about them,
So it was
was he there?
was that
wasn't
seeing?
there.
Was that seeing into the future?
Wormtail was there.
Oh,
there.
I'm moving
Correct.
myself.
Correct. Because he was just talking to Wormtail in the
I hate
room.
when I do that.
I
then-
hate that.
Nagini slithered in.
right, yeah, it was just
Stupid.
Wormtail.
Oh, that's when I was like, he's a seer. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so it was only a couple of days, so that summer thing can't happen.
Maybe it was a couple days in a row something was going on though.
Yeah.
Because he did say Moody again or something like
Yeah.
that, right? Am I making that up?
No, he did.
But he's also known for like being not so much eccentric, but like kind of
Causing-
like firing first and then asking
So I
questions.
wanna
You know, you're a little
yeah.
suspicious and I'm going to accuse you.
I want a headcanon that Junior was like keeping watch over him and trying to get at him and figuring it out for a couple of days, and that's why Moody was on edge.
There was something I just thought of and I lost it, but it was really
Don't you
good.
love how you like think of something and then you like totally like pick it apart and you're like 2 seconds later you're like, nope, not can't be a thing.
Hey, that's part of the podcast.
That's true. That's true.
That's fine.
Ooh. How long was Barty under the Imperious Curse for? Like
think
years. Months or years? When did his mom and him switch?
I think it was years.
Because think of how long
Yeah.
it took him to overcome, like, successfully that
True.
Imperious Curse. And Harry, it took him, like, a class or two.
Well, think about how strong
That's what I'm saying.
Senior is to have kept that on him as well.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Harry.
He's a powerful dude, bro.
But honestly, he is. Give the boy some credit.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Would you drop potions if you could?
No,
No.
I think it's
No.
I think it's
important.
It's essential.
I
Think
would
about what you use
love
it for, you know?
potions with a proper teacher.
Do you want to take a moment to talk about Cursed Child?
Oh my God.
Because this reminds me of, I don't know, guys. I kind of liked him a little bit more after I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, we all said
Snapey
it.
Snape.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate him for sure.
you'll hear our Cursed Child episode unless you decided not to listen to it, which, you know, you do you. But I think
Here's the gist of it. No, just
I
kidding.
think this is the consensus that we all really liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I
I
thought...
eat my words.
Yeah,
I
I
have
thought I
no
was gonna
shame
hate
in
it.
saying that I crapped all over it for a very long time, and I eat my words. I mean, I can do that because you know what?
No one's perfect.
I'm an adult.
Yeah. And we evolve and we change just like Pokemon. That's right, isn't it?
I was
Don't
once
they like grow up and stuff?
I was once a Charmander, became a Charmeleon, and now I am a Charizard.
And sometimes I'm a Mega X Charizard. That's right.
But only
I just know
Only
Charmander and Charizard.
Charmeleon is the cutest one, I'm just saying.
And then Pikachu.
I think
Anyways,
I Pikachu you.
I literally like going in, and I will disclaim, didn't read it when the
All
book
the
came
way
out or
through.
when the play came out, and then I read spoilers because I had to know what it was about, and I was like, this is literally. It sounded dumb. I'm not gonna lie, I just
dumb.
didn't like it. To me, it sounded more like a fan fiction than anything else. And then I started reading it when we decided to do this reread / Swish and Flick started. And I got to the point where they get off the train. And I was like, I can't. So I was like very much like not looking forward to it, but not looking forward to it.
that was the only part I didn't like.
And I thought it was cool.
I liked it.
I liked the fingers.
No, I think that's horrific.
I really, really liked it. And I was shocked that I liked it so much. Like, I would
And-
say I love it.
Snape redeems himself in Cursed Child.
The whole story makes so much sense when you see it the way it's intended for you to see it, which is in person. And, like, I wish it was more accessible because we've talked about this. In general, I wish plays and musicals and all of those
Yeah.
things were more accessible. It's unfortunate that a lot of times that they are crazy expensive, especially in
a
big
lot of
cities.
them are getting turned into movies lately, though, which I think
It's
is
a good
cool.
thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it was really, really, really good. And I legitimately am surprised I liked it so much.
A lot of people were asking me, what'd you think? What'd you think? What'd you think? Should I read it? And I said, poop, no. But here's the thing with that. Like you said, the accessibility to that. But I said, honestly, it is not for me to have interpreted. It is for the actors to have
Yes.
done that for me. You just can't.
Yeah. I mean, you can't
you can't.
put the emotions into their words and
Because it's not a novel.
right.
Well, and you could say that too, because the one thing that bothers me, technically, it is a book because it's pages, bound, all that stuff. And this is true about plays and screenplays. They are not like novels. That's not what they're there for. There's not a lot of emotion. There's not a lot of like other things. It's literally almost, I would say 80% of it is dialogue.
Lines. Yeah.
I mean, unless you're the actor doing it, like it's not the way, like she said, it's not the way that it's meant to be seen. And hopefully they do a movie of it at some point. I would love it for it to be the OG actors.
I
even
think
if-
that they will.
even if they
It'll
do
be
it-
a while.
Yeah,
It'll be a while, but I think eventually they will because
I think if they do it like how they did Puffs, where they filmed it
Yeah.
on stage.
Exactly.
Shrek has it where they filmed the musical and everything on stage. I really liked it. You
I
didn't
don't like
like
the way
it?
Shrek looks now.
Oh, it didn't bother me.
Did you like watching Puffs though?
Yeah.
Like that, I love. Like I don't mind sitting there and watching it because you're watching it how it was supposed to be portrayed.
Yes.
So if they just filmed them the whole two parts and all of that stuff on stage, I'd be here for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It'll probably happen
Take my
eventually.
money.
Yeah.
I dropped $60 on a double disc set, if not
yeah.
more.
Yeah. I mean, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Dear Joe.
Please.
Give it to
Everything.
us.
I understand it has to be a couple years so that you can get your biggest bang for your buck at all these theaters, but you should definitely make it accessible.
I'll also say we talked to a couple of people that like too also hated it beforehand, and then they saw it. They're like everything was different.
It's so different. I can't.
Everything is awesome.
I was gonna do that.
Everything is cool when you're little Miss Wolves.
Like it's just so good.
It's so good. you
I
guys.
genuinely, and I won't lie,
And now I feel like I can read it.
cried a lot.
I bled a lot. So. Literally, my blood, sweat, and tears went into that show.
Well, it was funny because I started crying at the the second part, first act, and Megan and Katie were like, "Oh no, you guys are gonna cry." Like Katie's like, "I didn't even think I was going to cry." She goes, then all of a sudden she was like, "I'm crying." So I was like, "Oh great." So they're crying. It goes to intermission, and Megan's like, "Yeah." So I didn't think you were gonna start crying until the second act. I was like, "Oh good." Was hardcore
There's just
sobbing
so
at
many
the end.
things that are so emotional. I mean, I was crying
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the show when they were doing 19 years later. Like,
Yeah,
it's just,
nostalgia.
I got misty.
I mean, I don't have to explain it to our listeners because they're already Potterheads, but you know what I'm talking about when you talk about 19 years later. It's like that, it's that feeling.
I cried whenever the Warner Brothers thing came back
Exactly.
up for the first Fantastic Beasts movie because I'm like, oh my God, we're re-entering this world. Like, it was just such an amazing feeling. Like, I cannot believe I'm sitting in a movie theater seeing a new Wizarding World movie.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean,
And it's the
obviously,
same
I
world.
get it.
And it's the same world. That's the thing. Like, we get to go in the past. It's awesome. It's like our little time turner.
And two, with the play, I love Fantastic Beasts, but like my first love will always be like Harry Potter and like the gang. So getting to go back and getting a new story, I was
With our people.
It was so good. And Ron, I might cry again. He was just so cute, and I just loved him.
And he and
and there was no
Hermione.
doubt in my mind that they're meant to be. And like
Him and her
when
for life.
when Joe was like, the story's done, and watching it, I was like, no, the story's done. Like I think they did a justice.
You're settled.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see it again.
I
So
do
do I.
too. I do too.
Let's go. Let's just go in the summer.
Okay.
Go back to New York yet.
We could drive there.
We go to California.
Let's go to San Francisco and see it.
I'd go to San Fran.
We probably could.
Let's do it.
I'd go for a weekend.
I would love to.
That's a
Something might be in the
long
works
It's a
plane
here.
for a
flight.
weekend.
I mean, maybe like an extended weekend.
But like when you fly there, it's like you didn't even travel in
Right,
time.
yeah. you
So,
just,
like, we're
it's just
going-
flying
So
So we
home
used a
sucks.
time turner.
I'm
Yes,
going at the
pretty
end of the month, and we leave here at 10 o'clock, and I think we get there at like 4. But we have a layover.
Ew, where are you laying over?
I think Denver. Does that count as me going to that state?
Yes.
That's up to you.
No. I don't
I
think
kind of agree with Megan, but I
Hockey.
want it to agree.
I don't think it does.
Buy me something, Broncos.
No.
Come on.
Go Browns.
Whatever.
Should
Don't
We
talk,
didn't lose a ton last
don't
year.
talk to me about football then if you're going to tell me you go Browns.
Hey, I love Cleveland.
Do you?
Baker Mayfield. Help us win more games.
Cleveland, bro.
The Browns
All
are
right.
going to be.
We almost had a winning season.
Let's move on.
Fan
but
story.
we didn't.
Yes.
Wait, someone else has a question, and I like this one.
All right, go
If
ahead.
you could comfort Neville, how would you?
A spot of tea.
I think that tea fixes everything.
Tea does fix everything, and I would give
It's
him.
comforting.
What does Sheldon say?
Something like that.
Yeah. Like a warm beverage or something.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Can I offer you a warm beverage? I'm pretty sure that, like, I'd give him like tea, and I would just
talk.
ask, if he
Or
wanted
just
to
sit.
Yeah, I'm like, do you want to talk about it? If not, like, I'm here for you, and we'll sit and drink our beverages.
Because sometimes that's all you need to do for someone is just let them know you're there.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people don't want to talk.
Even
And that's
if-
a touchy subject too, and he
Yeah.
probably like a lot of people don't know what happened to his parents, so it's hard to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't tell people.
Yeah.
Except Harry. And not until way later. And he even knows what happened to Harry's parents, and he just still didn't feel comfortable enough.
It's just, it might be too one of those things that he's like, it's one of the only things he has with his parents is like being able to keep them to himself,
I feel that. Yeah.
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 It's sad. I just want to give him a hug.
Well, I don't think Matthew Lewis's wife would appreciate that.
I wouldn't do anything untowards him. She can be in that. We could do a group hug. I'll hug both of them.
Oh my god! All I think of is Genie. Group hug. Group hug.
I don't know what that's from.
All right.
Aladdin.
I've never seen it.
Oh
Never
my
even heard
god!
of it.
Get out. Fan story.
Yeah.
Okay. So this week comes from Ava.
Hello, Ava.
Hopefully it's not Ava.
I would
say
think
Ava.
it's Ava.
What?
Like
I don't
Abba.
know. What? Watch it be the other way, and I said it wrong. I ruined it. Hi, I'm Ava. Disclaimer: I know I'm a lot younger than most of your listeners, 15.
Hey.
So it's okay if you don't read this on the podcast. Girl, we read them all.
You know we got you.
But I still want to let you guys know how truly amazing you are. But first, here's my Potter story. I can't remember when I first picked up the first Harry Potter book, but I know it was when I was young. I went to a private Christian school up until first grade, so you already know I got woken up during nap time to read. I knew I picked up the first book many of times. My mom had the book set, but the first few chapters just never grabbed my interest, so I always threw it aside. I kept trying and trying to reread the books, but I just could never get past the first book. Things in my life had taken a turn. I was getting older and understanding more things about my life, and things got hard. I dropped out of middle school to homeschool because I was having anxiety attacks and panic attacks in the middle of classes, and things just got really dark for me. But it didn't really help isolating myself. I barely left my room that summer, but my friend lent me the first book of Harry Potter because I wanted to do something besides doing nothing, even if that meant I had to at least get past the first book. It took me all summer to read that book. I barely picked it up, and it just wasn't for me. Then I asked for the second one. After the second one, I was obsessed. I had watched the movies over 100 times each. I can literally quote each scene. It's amazing, but I had never fully understood the movies. It was all so confusing without the books. I totally agree sometimes. But reading the books was so much better. I continued to read the books through and kept finishing the books quicker and quicker because that was the only thing I began to do. These books helped me through freshman year of high school, and that's probably when I needed them the most. My life continuously kept getting harder and harder, and what I eventually always turned to in my darkest moments was Harry Potter. Eventually, my friend said she didn't have the 5th, 6th, or 7th book due to the fact her brother only had the old book set, and I flipped out. I needed these books, so I asked everyone I could that had them if I could borrow them. I eventually found the 5th one from my mom's old book set and read that, and by the time I was finished, it had been my birthday, and I got the whole book set. Yes, I cried. I instantly went to my room and read through each day until I couldn't keep my eyes open. God, I know that. I finished the whole book series 20 days later at 11:36 p.m. on the 23rd of January, 2019. And can I please just say half of those pages are covered in tears. That same month, I started rereading them because these books have been the only comfort I have had to turn to that would always make me feel better. That's when I found your podcast. I started rereading with you guys, even though your podcast started years ago. Not that far long ago, right? Not even 2 years. Yeah. And I was reading 3 to 7 chapters a day, which also meant I was going through 3 to 7 episodes a day.
Goodness.
3 and 7.
Us in your head.
I'm already over halfway done with your whole podcast. It's only been like a month of listening.
Holy cow.
And can't wait to catch up, but it will suck that I will have to wait a week for a new episode. Yeah. Since rereading, I have become an even bigger Potterhead and have forced half of my family to watch all the Harry Potter movies with me after each time I finish the book with homemade butterbeer. Yes, that's how you do it. My older brother usually jokes around with me saying I'm actually a squib and everyone is just acting clueless and hiding it from me, so that's fun. I talked. That is mean.
That's your brother thing to say.
Yeah.
I talked to my family about wanting to go to Universal Studios, and they said if I saved the money for it, my aunt would take me. Them, of course, thinking I wouldn't be able to. At that news, I cried because I've literally had dreams of going to Harry Potter World, and in the dream, the sight of it just brought me to tears. So since then, I've been saving every single dollar I've earned and put it in a box that has labeled on it saying Gringotts Vault number 1136, the time I finish the series, and savings for Hogwarts and Hogsmeade. I'm also setting up a huge garage sale and working as many jobs as I can as a 15-year-old. Wish me luck on my dream, guys. I hope it comes true, and I just want to say I'm deeply jealous each time you say you have gone. I've gotten sorted on Pottermore. My Hogwarts house is Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Ilvermorny is Horned Serpent.
Yeah.
My wand is cedar wood, a unicorn hair, 12 1/4 inches, and reasonably supple flexibility. My Patronus is a dragonfly.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
That was cool.
You guys on a daily basis are my escape, and you only bring me happiness and comfort. Through the tough times I'm going through, I always turn to Harry Potter, and since none of my friends are Potterheads, it's good to having a group of people discussing it all in my life, along with being able to escape with into a world that has kept me alive for so long. I know you guys work really, really hard, and like I said, I know I'm so young, so this probably all sounds stupid.
Nope.
It doesn't. But you are changing people's lives, just as J.K. Rowling herself has done. Whoo, that is a high compliment. Thank you. Thank you for changing mine. P.S. I have spoken up about what I was going through. I'm glad I did because I know for a fact I wouldn't be here today listening to your podcast if otherwise. Thank you for continuously helping me on my way
on the way to me getting better even today. You guys are honestly amazing, and once again, I know this all sounds so ridiculous coming from a young person's mouth or fingers, but you guys are helping so many people unknowingly, and you guys are a few of my heroes. Thank you. Sorry, this is so long.
Hey, what will you look at me?
For tears. Don't look in each other's eyes.
First of all,
Wow.
you're not too young.
Right.
Any Potter fan, I don't care if you're Alana's age or if you're 150, you're welcome here.
If you're $150, your secret.
I was thinking of Dumbledore, although he's only 115, but whatever. Second, don't apologize for being too long.
Don't ever apologize to us unless you're mean.
Your story
That's a
is your
different thing.
story.
Yeah.
Tell it exactly how it needs to be told. And third, like,
Thank you.
thank you for the
Yeah.
kind words and for letting us be in your ears way too often.
Right.
And
glad
for
we
still
can
being
help.
here.
Yeah.
I don't think we're worthy of all your
Dude,
guys'
but-
praises.
But let's just say, being a teenager is rough. And being a teenager
It really
in the
is.
day of social media,
I would have hated it.
hello.
Like, let me just tell you guys, this is my little like old person advice coming from an almost 30-year-old. Okay, so
she's the third youngest on the podcast.
no, but
out of
honestly,
4.
so like looking back now, everything that I like hated or was mad about, like
Worried
is
about,
stressed about, like it's so
Doesn't
minimal.
matter.
It's so stupid. Like, but in that moment, as a teenager,
It's everything.
it's consuming.
Well, and you had to.
And it's like just know when you're on the other side of it, you'll be fine.
That's why people always say, like, I wish I knew then what I know now.
Yeah, it's
but
so
like,
true.
I mean, you just
That's part of
Well, and
growing
you have
up.
to
That's-
remember
you gotta
too,
go through
like
it,
if
but-
there's horrible, like if bad stuff happens, like it gets better.
It does.
First of all. And like
It does.
when you're a teenager, a lot of your emotions you just don't have control over. Like there's so many like raging
can't help
hormones
it.
around it.
You
Yeah,
literally can't.
Yeah.
You
can't
know,
help it.
I remember being like horrific. Like like something would just set me off, and like I'm a lot better at handling my anger and all of these things now. But like as a teenager, my mom was like, we wouldn't really like talk to you too much. She's like, because we'd set you off, and nobody wanted to be around me when I'm that mad.
That's how I
And
was
it's-
with my mom.
And it still happens now, but I'm much better. Like my mom will even say, she's like even a couple years ago, there was like something I wanted to do, and I had to ask for my parents' permission because I was like in a lot of trouble. And she's like, well, we were waiting for you to come to me. I'm like, well, I was trying to be like the good person and not bother you, so I didn't want to ask you. And it was too late anyways. I was asking you to go to Cincinnati for the weekend. She's like, oh, we would have let you go, but we were waiting for you to say something. I'm like, but I'm trying to just be like a better, you know what I mean? You're always changing, you're always evolving, and totally, God. I think I would have hated my life if I had to grow up with social media. Like Instagram was not a thing in high
hard.
school.
Crazy harder.
Facebook came about my senior year. Whew, guys, I feel for you.
yeah.
Yeah, we came into it as far as high schoolers go, like way late in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't really blossom until college and like now with social media.
Like
but-
I think that like iPhones were a thing, but like
Yeah.
they were not for us. You know,
No,
like we had
right.
flip phones.
I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like
QWERTY
texted
boards.
with the numbers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
throwback.
Yeah.
If you wanted an S, you had to press that button a couple of times.
Text messages when I was in high school cost 25 cents for every single one I sent and received. So my dad would get mad
so would
when I would
Jerry.
send text messages.
Because he's like, we don't have
Not a
unlimited
thing.
text messages. I would blow through my 250 text messages in an hour, probably, in
Yeah.
a day. And he would be like, oh my gosh. Even now, I'm like the one that uses the most data, but like I pay for my phone bill, like my part of it. So it doesn't matter. So I'm like, if
It's
I go
just
over,
like-
here's some money.
It's a totally different world coming from when we were growing up to the kids now. And like, honestly, I feel for you guys. Like,
Yeah.
I feel for all of the kids who are still in high school that have social media and like what that, like the vanity of social media and everything is just very hard to grow up with. I can't imagine. But just know that like that stuff doesn't matter. It, you know, like what you post on social media today is not going to mean anything, you know, a week from now, honestly.
Just check
like,
my
social-
MySpace.
And even
social
too,
media is like
MySpace.
instant gratification. It's just don't even worry about
And
it.
it affects not just teenagers, but it affects people our age and older.
Agreed.
Like,
Comparison
sure.
is
Yeah.
big time.
it's a huge thing. And you have to remember, like, because
Highlight reels.
Mom shaming on social media.
I watch a lot of,
Yeah.
like,
Try and mom shame me. See what happens.
I watch a lot of YouTubers like that vlog and stuff, and they're like maybe the average video is like 15 minutes. So like you literally see maybe 15 minutes of my life in a 24-hour day. So you think you know them, but you only see parts of it. So you don't see, and some might show the good, the bad, and the ugly, but other people just want to show you like the good stuff. And that's true with social media, like the expectation versus reality, like completely different. So don't worry, don't compare yourself to others.
Yeah, no.
Because you are enough, you are perfect the way you are.
So, long story short, it gets better.
Ava.
And all Harry Potter fans come in all shapes, sizes, and ages. It doesn't matter how old you are.
I
Thank
don't
you
care
for
if
listening
you-
to us. Thank you for sending your story.
I don't care
and
if
we
you
love it.
read the first book 20 years ago when it came out, or you started it yesterday. You're still a fan. We still love you.
And we're sorry for ruining the series.
Yes. Don't listen to us until you finish it, unless you like spoilers like me.
But truthfully, I mean,
That's something I don't get. That people that like hate on other people. Well, you're not a real fan.
No,
what
you
makes
are.
what makes someone a real fan? If they
They're
love
not a
the
real
series.
fan if you're going to tell someone else that they're not
Yeah,
a real fan.
yeah, that's
That's
not what this
not
fandom's
cool.
about.
And you can have different opinions and you can disagree on whatever, but at the end of the day, we all have the commonness of Harry Potter and at least enjoying the series somewhat if you're willing to read it more than once or watching all the movies, all of that.
For sure.
Ava,
Yeah.
let that dragonfly Patronus shine bright. You're
Yep.
going to be okay. I know what it's like to be a teenager with anxiety as well.
It sucks, man.
But it'll be okay. It will be okay.
I can't imagine.
You're strong.
You
And
missed
I
the
really
conversation
love
Katie and I
your
had about
story.
anxiety.
I can't imagine. I mean, I have it more. I truthfully, I think I was lucky enough to not have any kind of anxiety, and then I had a baby, and then I was like, oh, it's can be debilitating. So keep fighting, you guys. Fight that good fight. You know, turn on those lights.
Yep.
Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light. So
Truth.
let's
Thank you for your story.
yeah.
Yes, thank you so much. And really, I don't feel like I'm worthy of your words.
And tell your friends to get into Potter. You get Potterheads around you, you'll always be happy.
Oh, yeah.
Social media.
We got it.
Here.
Swish Flick Podcast can be found on all the social medias.
It like goes away. Okay. So on Facebook, we're Swish and Flick Podcast, and on Twitter and Instagram, we're at Swish Flick Cast. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also find us on Patreon at patreon.com/SwishFlickCast, where you can gain access to the Felix files, and you can gain access to our Discord channel to join us live on episodes. Lastly, check out our website, swishflickcast.com, to find all of the information on us in one spot, along with brand new merchandise that gets released randomly when we feel like it.
Whoa.
I got some ideas.
Yeah, we do. Some new stuff should be coming, along with computer and
Wallpaper.
phone wallpapers for your
Also,
pleasure.
If you
You're
have any
welcome.
ideas that you want to shoot us an email,
Yeah.
I was
we'll
trying
take
to think
them
of
under
some new stuff.
consideration.
Our eyes and ears are always open.
Yeah, let us know what you want.
Well, mine aren't. I like to sleep.
I was going to say, sometimes it can be painful keeping your eyes and ears open.
So what's up with your life?
Oh, kind of a personal thing. I will, as
She
of
has a baby,
tomorrow.
surprise.
Yeah. You actually heard her tonight. What's today? First. So as of March 2nd, I will have finished a 6-week workout program.
Yeah, good for you.
It's awesome.
Good.
I've
for
only
you.
missed a couple of days for being sick, and I made up those workouts. So I did a couple of 2-a-days, and it was horrific.
Can we talk about the fact that she worked out in New York City?
I did.
I'm
Didn't
proud
take
of
a day
you.
off.
I did.
You worked out when you came home or no?
Yeah.
You're insane. Let
I
me
know.
tell you this. When we came home from New York, we flew home on Saturday. So she couldn't work out in the morning. We had a busy day. We get to the airport. Our flight, and I've flown not a crazy ton in my life, but I'm like a somewhat seasoned flyer.
You are.
That was probably the scariest flight I've ever been on. Like, that's the first time I ever remember being afraid on a flight. Mind you, it was only in max 2 hours. The turbulence was jump.
it was
not good. And then there was a good 20 minutes in
There was
there
a
where
windstorm
I
the
threw
past
my
weekend.
hand
Yeah.
on the seat in front of me because I was like nervous. And I didn't want to say anything to Tiffany because she was already nervous.
I don't like flying anyway.
So she gets home. She's tired. Her husband's tired. The baby's tired. And you still worked out. I'm very proud of you.
Thanks.
That's amazing.
I always like to say Chandler's line, I may have soiled myself during some turbulence. I didn't, but it was not good. But yeah, so I'll finish that and then I'm going to start it again on Monday. And I'm excited because it feels good. I also started Majora's Mask and I am not very far. It's hard to play a two-handed video game. That's why Pokemon on the Switch was so great because I used to play with one of the Joy-Cons.
Right.
Because it's one-handed. I don't know. But I also, I just have all these like lofty goals of like reading a book. So I do have like a Star Wars trilogy book that I want to read. It's like the OG. And I want to read those because I want all the like little details. But that's me, Alana. Spring break's coming up at the end of the month. Can't wait. That's me.
So I officially, thanks to Katie, we have a logo for my wedding design business called Whimsy.
I want to see it.
And we can show you. So I know I told you guys probably on the last episode that you listened to that I was going to have everything like up on Instagram.
Yeah, right.
Well,
Life is busy, man.
by the time you listen to this, it will be. I promise.
already?
I have a Facebook page and an Instagram. It's called Whimsy Wedding Design.
Maybe I should follow you.
But so yeah, we have a logo, so I'm super excited about that. I'm gonna get some of our some designs that I've done already on Etsy as well for like packaged options for people that aren't necessarily personalized. I mean, obviously they'll be personalized with your information, but like a design that is set and you can just say
Person A and person B are
plug
getting
my
married.
info in. Yeah, okay, so we can tell you about our flight home from New York. It was awful.
Sorry, it's not funny at all.
It's way worse than Sarah. And
And I feel bad because,
boy.
like, legitimately, that was the first time I've ever been afraid on a flight.
This was the first time I've ever really been afraid on a flight
And
as
I
well.
know yours was worse.
And so, we're flying. So they left on Saturday. We left on Sunday.
I also told them about it, which I kind of felt bad because you're probably going on there going, oh, geez.
No, it helped me expect
You're
it.
great.
I was expecting turbulence
Yeah.
because I knew that there was a windstorm in Cleveland. So, I was just
Most
hoping
of the
that
flight was okay.
taking off was okay.
A little bit of turbulence.
A little bit, in the middle of the
Expected.
flight, it was whatever. And then we hit turbulence as we were going through the clouds to come back down in Cleveland, which is all that always happens. So that didn't scare me. I was just kind of like, okay, this is expected.
It's a cloud.
But then we got below the clouds and it didn't stop. It just got worse.
was it like doing that like drop thing or like the shake thing?
So both.
Yeah,
It was doing a shake thing and then it would dip to the right and then it would dip to the left and then we would drop and then we would go up a little bit and then it would dip again.
And then
I
you
was
hear the
like-
plane go rev up and then slow down, and it was
and then all
really
of a
scary.
sudden it was like, yeah, he put the brakes on, hey, they make that thing fall down on the wings to slow you down, but it really slowed us down and it was just we stopped. And
Okay.
then and it was like, oh my God.
So real talk.
Tiffany's never flying again.
Did you poop your pants?
No.
Did you?
And
poop?
I, honest to God, am shocked that there was no screaming really on the flight.
I am too.
People were pretty calm, which surprised me because had
I
other
didn't hear
people been
anybody.
screaming, I may have screamed a couple times, but I wasn't about to start that.
See, so I don't know why, but I have trouble with takeoff because personally, I don't think flying should be a thing. People shouldn't be able to do it. That's just dumb. And don't tell me it's science because that's insane. If
But it is
that would have happened.
science.
I know. I said it's science, but it's still stupid. People shouldn't be flying. The Wright brothers were nuts.
The Wright brothers were wrong brothers.
You shouldn't be in the air. Get back in the house. No, but if that would have happened to me during takeoff, I would have lost my mind. I hate taking off. I love landing. Probably because I'm like, yes, it's over. It's over.
Oh, you wouldn't
But
have liked
see,
this landing.
Yeah, so we were probably so low that I could have pointed out Sarah's house. We were
pretty
low.
No.
We were low over
No.
Cleveland, about
They
to
dropped the
land.
gear.
They
No.
dropped the landing gear. and then the plane would not stabilize.
getting bad.
It was just getting worse the lower we went. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the engine revs and we are skyrocketing back up.
You
and
have a talented pilot.
Oh yeah,
Well,
praise
this
the
is
pilot.
really-
And that's a small
what they
We
plane.
had a
do.
pilot sitting next to us who was supposed to fly a flight out of Cleveland on Monday morning. So he was like, "Oh, the wind is
route.
probably really bad. He's probably going to circle around and try again." I was like, "Oh, lovely. Let's try this again." And then all of a sudden, like, it was 5 minutes. 5 minutes later,
He's like,
he comes on and he's like, "Yeah, we're not going to try that again. We've been diverted to Columbus, which is 2.5 hours away, really, from my parents' house."
how long did it take to get?
Oh, I guess the airport. Maybe I was thinking,
There.
I'm like,
The
I can get to
airport.
Columbus
Yeah,
in
yeah.
less
No, yeah.
than 2 hours.
Yeah, the airport, because it's like a little bit south, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then American was not nice to deal with. I'll just
I don't blame
Leave it at
that
that.
crew or the pilot. They did everything correctly. It was the people
In
at
Columbus.
the Columbus airport.
They
who
were
just
awful.
like, yeah,
Hey.
They wouldn't. So my phone was telling me when I got off, I was checking like the flight status of like our flight number. And it said that I was on a flight for Monday morning to go from Columbus to Cleveland. It was like a half-hour flight. But that plane had to get to Cleveland on Monday because there was another flight that it had to do. So, like, it was telling me you're on this flight for tomorrow morning. So I'm like, okay, great. We'll just get a hotel and then we'll come back in the morning and we'll fly because it was late by the time.
Yeah.
Like, we were
on the-
supposed to land. We were supposed to land in Cleveland at 7:22. Our flight got delayed by an hour to begin with
couple times.
in Cleveland.
Really?
Or in New York, so we
Yeah.
didn't take off until like 6:30.
Is that
No,
because
it
of
Well,
the
was
we
wind?
7.
boarded at 6:30.
we boarded
Sarah,
at 6.
I could not be happier that we left on
Honest to
Saturday.
God.
Meg, we
I
boarded
took
at
off-
6. Sat
I
there
would've
for
been
an hour.
sick.
took off at about 7:30 from New York, so like already way late.
Oh my lord.
Then it took longer to get to Cleveland because of all the wind.
Yeah.
So
Didn't
we
land
weren't
in
even
Cleveland.
we didn't even try landing in Cleveland until like 8:45. Then they had to divert us.
Nikes.
And we landed in Columbus, and a second flight had been diverted from Cleveland, and they landed before us in Columbus, and they only had one gate open for both planes, so we had to sit
You were just sitting there.
and
Oh
wait
my
for them
God.
to deplane.
That's my worst nightmare is sitting on a
It
plane.
was hot.
Sucked.
Like on
Yeah,
the
our plane was hot, too.
Tar pack. That's
We
not the
didn't.
word.
We didn't get off of that plane
Tarpack.
for 4 hours. Like it was probably
it was
10:30.
all together,
Horrific.
that entire experience, probably 4 hours sitting on a plane.
Yeah.
And then you had to wait in line to talk to somebody when you got off.
Yeah.
They wouldn't pay for a hotel. They wouldn't put you on the flight the next morning.
No
they
rental
wouldn't
car.
pay for a rental car. You had to take a taxi from the Columbus airport to the Cleveland airport. And that was the only thing that they would pay for.
Is that what y'all did?
Yeah.
That's horrendous.
And you had to ride. If you were by yourself, you could not take a taxi by
They
yourself.
wouldn't
You
give
had
you a
to go with
voucher.
a group.
You had to be with other people.
So we were thrown there with some old
Random lady who sat in the back seat, and Katie and I couldn't even sit next to each other. I had to sit in the front seat of the taxi. It was the worst.
So who
But we're
who
alive.
did this? American.
Yeah.
American.
You know what though? I'm not even gonna blame.
naughty.
I'm gonna blame just specifically American Airlines.
But
in
I don't know if
Columbus.
that's what they were directed to do.
I don't know.
I don't know, but it was
Y'all,
awful
that is not good
customer
customer service. Tweet that.
I
And they
will.
were like, they
I'm
didn't
going
even
to.
sound compassionate. They were just like,
No.
whatever, we don't care.
They're like, well, that's all we can do.
See,
That's
if
the
you're
only
in a customer
option.
service business, you've got to be
Yeah.
at least pretend. Even if you don't care, you got to say that you
Yeah.
do.
So the other thing though is like whenever we landed, they were just like they didn't care that we had been sitting on a plane for 4 hours. Like gave us no like time to
Like, I
go
have to
get
pee.
a water, go to the bathroom. They were just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And I'm like, what is going on? It was
bad.
Yeah,
the worst
that's-
experience.
That's
Well,
not good.
And two, there was a Bob Evans in North Olmsted. The whole sign was knocked over from the wind. Like this
crazy.
is not like a little bit of like wind.
Yeah.
Like there,
No,
it
and I
was horrible.
I was like, is it safe to drive in this windstorm?
Probably
they were
not.
telling us not. They were
And
telling people not to.
They were telling people not to drive. But
semi
and then here's
turned
the-
over.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw that.
Got blown over by the wind.
blown over a
Yeah.
semi.
And so the electric goes out in a ton of places. Like it was just all over the map, thousands of outages. And when the winds would reach 40 plus miles an hour, the electric companies can't work. They can't sit in those buckets.
Yeah,
you can't
So
be
you
so it
just
is what
you
it
just
is.
literally have to wait until the wind dies down.
Our cable went out.
They
so
told
we couldn't
us
watch the Oscars.
We missed the Oscars first world man.
I know.
We were on a plane looking at updates.
yeah.
Because I was like, I'll just go to bed then. Because
The pilot who's sitting next to us said that they can land a plane anything below 50 miles an hour
Is, like,
with winds.
safe. They're allowed
That's
to
like
take
what
off
they
and stuff.
consider to be safe to land in. And literally, it was fine in Cleveland until we got there. It picked up to 60 miles an hour.
That's bananas, man.
Yeah,
I
like-
can't even
that
handle
was
that.
a fun
there was a
experience.
bunch
You guys,
of
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That is just
I'm alive.
That is the pits.
We
You know
landed.
what?
I mean, yeah.
And
I got another day off work,
yeah, I didn't have to go to work the next day. So
so it's fine.
Correct me.
I mean, it sucked, but
we made an adventure out
honestly,
of it. You know?
like,
it's a story to tell.
it's a story to
yeah. Honestly, it was whatever. And
mean-
I'm totally going to tweet American because it was the worst experience. They
You're like,
had,
yo, your pilots rock, but you suck.
yeah.
When we tweeted Delta because they messed up something for our honeymoon, they sent us a basket. Like
yeah,
a
they
gift
did. They sent us
basket.
like a
Nice.
fruit basket.
I mean, we don't want your fruit. We want some airline tickets to
Yeah,
good
right?
flights.
Send us to
No, I'm
San
just kidding.
Francisco to see Christian
Yeah.
again.
and all
I
will
don't
be
ever want to
forgiven.
fly on a plane that small ever again. I'm sorry,
was
guys.
very
I don't care how
small.
much the tickets are. We're gonna up it because I can't handle that.
But then sometimes I don't know if there was any other plane that day.
Yeah.
I know, but then I'll just change
Because it
the
was such
day.
a short flight, so they were thinking, you know what I mean?
When we go to Orlando,
All of those people on that flight, except for us, were people who
Like
were like
business.
business, or it
Well,
was like
Marty
the
said it
end
was
of an
like a
international
business
flight.
flight,
Like they
Oh,
flew
yes.
into JFK
Oh, yep.
and then they were flying home to Cleveland from JFK. From
Yeah.
The people
And then
behind
us came from Madrid. There were people on our flight who had
Why are they in
been
Cleveland?
traveling for 20 hours, and they were like,
No.
"I am not getting in a cab tonight for another 2 hours of traveling. This is not happening."
Poor people.
Yeah.
Traveling.
I can't imagine. Like, thank God our beginning and end was just New York to Cleveland. Imagine if we had come from, who knows where. in
Cali.
Europe.
Especially because, like,
Yeah.
once you're done with all of your, like, international traveling and you've had all of those flights,
You're so dumb.
all you want to do is get home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all,
And lay in
and
bed.
be home and just,
There's a different tired that is from planes.
I
Yeah.
agree. And
It's
I
just a
told
different
Katie and I
thing.
were talking about this. We were like,
it's
why does travel
exhausting.
take it out of you? Like, we did nothing but sit.
It's stressful.
exhausts you.
Yeah.
is
Especially
stressful.
that. I mean, we were
stressful.
exhausted just from all the stress.
Are we ready for me?
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
Katie, was that your turn too?
Oh, yeah, Katie
I
didn't
think
say
that was
anything.
enough for both.
This podcast, how long is this?
3 hours and 12 minutes.
No, we didn't start till 25 in, and we had
And we
some-
had a lot of breaks.
but
There's
it's
a lot
still
of
very
alarm
long.
hitting the table.
Still long.
Somebody's
though.
going to need to edit all that.
So,
And
I'm
other
going to
stuff,
tell you
maybe.
my
A lot of alarm.
fun fact of life. So, for Christmas, Marty and Tiffany got us all 23andMe DNA kits. So, I'm going to tell you my results because I think it's funny. So,
You think it's funny?
I don't know. I thought it was so as of right now, in this moment, I've gotten my results. My mom and my sister have, and I haven't heard from the rest of the family because they're slackers. But and I knew for the most part that I'm like Irish. I've been to where my mom's grandmother, so my great grandmother, where she grew up, all of that stuff. So I get it back, and what I wish that 23andMe did was break it up so you knew exactly where like
Yes.
the DNA comes from. But they group British and Irish together. So I'm 98.1% British and Irish. And it literally says like Ireland's first and then United Kingdom's after that. Then I'm 0.4% Italian and then 1.3% broadly Northwestern European.
Which is the UK.
Yeah, which includes
I
all
love
of
that word broadly.
And then broadly Southern
I
European,
got
which
a
is
couple of those,
0.1%. And then broadly European is 0.1%. So I'm 100% European, which didn't come as a big shock to me. The 98.1% comes as a shock to me.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But I
It's a
wanna
high-
do-
high percentage.
I want to do one that tells me like,
Ancestry.
I think I want to do Ancestry
yeah,
too.
I think I'm
and
going
compare
to
them.
after. Yeah.
is that what your sister did?
Yeah.
Because I want to know specifically like how much like Irish I am versus English. Because I know that I believe my great grandmother on my father's side, his maternal grandmother was from England, or at least her family was. Her last name was Davis. I'm actually named after her.
So right now, mine's in queue for DNA extraction. So I did one as well, but we sent it after there. So it says expected by March 18th, which I don't want to wait. But I'm
It
excited.
really-
Mine told me the 12th.
I'm excited to finally like know
I
where
loved
I'm
doing
from.
it. And then Katie got one today, thanks to Tiff. They had an extra.
Tiff. I have to try that this
So we're going to find out because Katie's dad was adopted, so we don't really know.
It was like a
all of
straight
what
up
she is.
closed.
We
I
just-
didn't know that.
We just know that
You guys.
all
She
your
said it
mom.
upstairs. Were you not listening to her?
No, I don't listen to anybody.
What's
We
cool,
think
too,
that her dad might be Middle Eastern.
I
Yeah.
heard. I read that.
I read that about you.
And two more fun facts. So it tells me, like, it kind of goes in depth if you click on it, and it'll tell you the 10 most places. Oh, so with my Ireland, it says Ireland has 26 administrative regions, and we found the strongest evidence of your ancestry in the following 10 regions. So the number one place is County Mayo, and that's where my like grandmother's from, or a great grandmother.
so
So like
cool.
I've seen where she went to school. I got to see the church she grew up in, and like so I know that my family's from there, which I thought was cool. And another fun fact, Megan and I linked up on it, and we're not related.
No, but I am 32, rounded up 32% British and Irish. And it said that my number one place in Irish that I had family in was
In Irish?
in Ireland was County Mayo, which is the same as Sarah. So I was like, let's link up. Maybe we are, but
Maybe
we're not.
your like great peoples were buddies.
Maybe
So
they
this
knew
is-
each other.
This is what it says. It says, in order from 1 to 10, County Mayo, Donegal, Galway, Cork, Dublin, Kerry, Sligo,
Galway,
Limerick,
girl.
Cavan, and Leitrim. I don't know if I said that correct. And then with the United Kingdom, from 1 to 10, it's Greater London, Glasgow City, Merseyside, Greater Manchester. They have a team, don't they? Isn't that who Matthew
Yeah.
Lewis likes? West Yorkshire, Belfast, which is in Ireland, but it's Northern Ireland, so it's the UK. Tyne and Wear, Derry, Lancashire. Is that how you say that?
Lancashire.
And then West Midlands. So it's interesting that most of those are like West. I don't know. It's cool. And then I don't know if it'll tell me anything else about my life.
You guys, you know that in the bathroom, everyone's European.
Oh my
I almost
god!
made that joke, and then I was like,
On the
It's
way
pretty
in,
late,
you're
so-
Russian. On the way out, you're Finnish.
I
"My,
have you never heard that joke before?
Not the last part.
You're gonna wake
Megan.
that child up and she's going to kill you.
I will drop kick you in the throat." And just because I'm very short doesn't mean I can't make it happen. I've just said I've been working out for 6 weeks.
Too, I'll tell you that. So I'll tell you what my mom, her Irishness is.
Oh, God.
So my mom's 99.9% European, and she's 90.7 British and Irish. And then my sister, 99.8 European, she's 92.3 British and Irish.
In the bathroom.
No, but yeah, I thought that was really cool. So I'm 98.1 Irish
Pure
British.
bread.
She's just a little Irish.
Just a little. I tell that to people, and I don't think they get that I'm kidding. And so they're like, "Oh, well, yeah, you
mean
should
not
like
kidding?
find out." Yeah, well, yeah. Because like they're like, "Oh, they see the last name O'Malley," and they're like, "Oh, are you Irish?" I'm like, "Ah, just a little bit."
Yeah,
Like,
everybody's
joking.
like, "Oh, Irish," and I'm like, "You know, I'm married, right?"
Well,
I took his name.
And then people will be like, I literally just had a patient because I was like, I actually got my DNA tested. And I'm like, so I'll be able to see how much. She's like, well, hopefully you're more than a little. And I was like, oh, you didn't get that I was joking. Very Irish. As far as I knew. And now I know.
Because knowledge is power.
The more you know.
I want to do Ancestry because, like, it's another chance of maybe one of my siblings did it. Because I know that I have siblings.
Let me in here.
You know you have more than one?
You do?
Yeah, I have, I think, at least 2.
That's pretty bold.
That's kind of freaky. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, I would say this. If I found out that I had extra siblings, oof.
I mean, like, I would never want to reach out to my birth parents, but if one of my, like, half siblings or something was on there, I might message them. But I wouldn't care to.
Well, this
meet or
thing
talk
tells
to
me
birth
I have
parents.
8 close relatives. It told me on something on the internet that I had 40 relatives living in Ohio, and I wanted to be like, actually more than that, but cool. 40 rounds up
Maybe
all my
it's just
cousins.
40 is to, like,
I think the people
the
that
ones
have
who
on
have
it.
done it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I also assumed. Because literally, if I added up all my cousins, I'd be close to 40. First cousins.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I have 8 cousins.
I think I have 8, maybe second cousins or like third cousins. I mean, there's more than that. Like my cousin's kids are more than 8 people, actually. But I think we're done here.
I think so too.
This is like literally the longest episode in a
Maybe.
really long time. Maybe ever.
So that
you guys
concludes
enjoyed
this
it.
week's episode. Thank
No.
you for listening.
No.
And don't let those little muggles get you down.
You don't get to say it.
I get to do whatever I want.
No, you don't, because
Yes,
the
I do.
supreme leader came from me.
She's the supreme lady.
You don't look her in the eye.
You don't talk to her first.
Yep. Oh boy. Okay. That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just like my voice.
What chapter are we on?
Chapter 14.
Snape's Grudge? Hold on, this is the wrong book.
I literally
I'm like, that's
it's the
not
one,
right.
the curses that are not forgivable.
So long, farewell
Auf Wiedersehen, adieu.
to you.
And you, and you, and you, and you. And
Are we recording this? Is this on the internet right now?
oh yeah.
Good.
18 people get to watch.
I'm nervous.
Oh.
Don't let the dog get it. Chocolate. I don't know where it is. Hold on. One more time. All right, come on.
Yeah, go high.
Let's do it.
Go hot.
Hold on, I gotta move my foot for more ground.
All right, let's do this. Come on, we can do this. I love you.
Oh
yes.
god.
I'd like to thank my mom.
Sorry,
Tiffany
we
was
screamed in your ears.
throwing a cookie into Sarah's mouth and she caught it. That's
Across the table.
across the table. It was very impressive.
All right, I'm going to start. And if you're not ready, I'm just going to read everybody's.
Do it. I want you to read everyone's.
I want you to do
want you-
impressions of
Yes.
Oh my
like
god.
that, dude.
Yeah,
Come on,
do
do
it.
it. Just
Come
do it.
on. Just do it. Just for the first
Peer
line.
pressure. Do
Tiffany,
it.
just do it.
But legitimately do it. Thanks, K. Bye.